Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Grif, this is Go, and we're going to be talking about Druid stuff. Today, we're going to mainly be focusing on our raid week, phase 3, and we actually got some cool info about hardcore, and the big topic is Wrath dying. We'll get into that later. But first, let's just get into the basics. Go, do you want to talk about... I actually am looking forward to talking about raiding this week because I got to watch your raid somewhat implode live, and I mean your guild is still intact, but it was rough last night, and you had a pretty much content creator mecca, and yeah, you guys struggled. And I will say, I looked specifically at the content creators. I don't think they were the weak source. It would be great if it was like, dude, Scotty J really dragged you guys down last night. But unfortunately, I don't think it was that. In fact, I watched from Table's point of view and from your point of view, and you guys were absolutely pumping. So I'm really glad to see that Druids are doing their thing on your guys' stream, because there's two of you. But yeah, do you want to go ahead and talk about what happened last night? And I'll talk about mine in a minute. So. Wait, hold on. You might have to start over. I don't know if it's coming through. We can't hear Go. One sec. Keep talking. Okay,
It's
go
me.
ahead. Start all over. Start
Hello.
all over. Go.
Starting all
So
over.
your
Well,
raid.
let me make
what
sure
happened?
they can hear me first.
Yeah, can we get a confirmation?
I'm not saying it 3 times. No, I'll say it twice. But
I don't know why it was muted. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I must have had people swearing on my stream, and I was like, no, never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Good now. Okay. Cool.
Okay. My bad. My bad.
As you had started off with the opening of the show today, Table is now part of our raid team. He joined us yesterday. He's only been with us for a day now, but yeah, he had to faction transfer and server transfer.
Yeah.
So he had to pay Blizz that
He told me that he actually used to be on that server too.
Yeah.
So he transferred away and then had to transfer back. So that's just hilarious.
We had to welcome back Table to Mancrick, and yeah, he made a couple mistakes last night, but what that happens with like when you're joining a raid team for the first time. So like he had a couple mistakes, but overall he did really well, I think. And yeah, we were struggling, dude. It started off for me personally. I died on so many bosses that I like never died to. Like I didn't die on Flame Leviathan, but my demo driver died early into the encounter.
Wow.
And so like that was
so
tough,
right off the snap, it was struggle bus, huh?
For me, yeah. So like demo driver, like I got shot up like immediately, and then I killed the turret. And when I got launched off of the boss after killing the turrets, my demo had already died. Like that fast into the encounter.
Did you get on a bike and just chill out then?
Yeah, so like a bike came, picked me up, and then like is driving me around. So I'm just a bike passenger for like a minute, and I'm like, well, this is like not fun. And finally I saw a siege, like I was mousing over every vehicle. I was like, is there a passenger spot available? So I saw a siege and I was like, yo, take me to the siege. Like, let me hop in there. And I was a siege passenger for the rest of the fight.
At least you got to do something.
Well, yeah, I was like, that's not cool though.
That sucks.
So then we did Ignis, Razor Scale, XT. I think we still had like one of the gravity bombs towards the end of the fight not go far enough away, so the entire range group got like pulled to the gravity bomb. It's like, come on, guys, like how do you not get the gravity bomb away? Yeah, like we were failing the basic mechanics of the raid for every encounter last night. So then we move on to Iron Council. Balanced Druid has this AoE ability called Starfall.
True.
I pop it at the start of the fight every week. I pop it this time. I pop it this time, so like, you know, it's small, medium, big.
Yeah.
So like I'm focused on the small guy, and Starfall rips aggro on the medium guy, and I'm just sitting there watching the medium guy just like slowly like make his way over to me, and he just comes over one shot, and I was like,
wait, let me ask you, is that a DK tank then?
yeah.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I'm not critiquing DK tanks, but the way it's normally done in a 25 man, not always, because like we do it with 3 different tanks. Like I tank the small dude until he dies, and then I go cat, because I can tank him in cat gear and cat spec. The problem with a DK tank is they are single target, and even feral tanks, when they maul 2 targets, so they can build threat on 2 targets really well. DKs can build threat on 1 target really well, but if they're not smart enough to tab and build threat on both, that Starfall can rip off for sure. So that's not surprising. That sucks though. So you died on Iron Council immediately.
Yeah, and it happened to be like one of our quickest Iron Councils. And the raid lead pointed out, a good parse. Like, yeah, the raid lead pointed out, he's like, the blue runes have been seeming to be more consistent, like with the timers and everything. For a long time, it was like the timer would come up, it'd be like 15, 20 seconds, and then like a blue rune would just randomly come out finally. But yeah, like it was a clean attempt on Iron Council, other than me
your death
ripping threat on the off target with Starfall and dying, and it was just like, man. Then we go to Algalon. So like instead of doing the whole raid and then going to Algalon for the end of the night, we were like, we're gonna get the first couple bosses out of the way, go to Algalon, get that taken care of, and do the rest of the raid.
And so how did that go?
We get to Algalon, and we downed it for the first time last week.
Yeah.
I have to pull it up now, because we didn't get below 50% for most of the attempts.
The first one I saw, you did. You actually got to phase 2. And maybe I came in at like the best time to see that, because I was like, oh, they're doing fine. And like you had like a bad wipe. It is what it is. But you're like, no, we've been wiping nonstop for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah. We had 10 wipes, and 4 of them were below 50%. 2 of them were only like 46, 48. Our best attempt was 9.4%. We had like one of those.
Oh, that's so close though. Yeah. Let me ask then, dude, what do you think causes wipes on Algalon? Because like there's so much that can go wrong, but like at the same time you can finish Algalon missing a couple DPS. Mm-hmm. So like is it the cooldowns not being popped the right way? Obviously the stars being the constellations being destroyed in like the right spots and in the right pacing and order, but that didn't seem to be an issue for you guys. So like what was the thing? Mm-hmm. Oh, was it? I came in halfway through because
not so much the constellations. It was more the stars. So the strategy for a lot of guilds for Algalon is like you start the encounter, everybody's laying into Algalon. Like 15 seconds into the fight, the first set of stars spawn, and everybody's supposed to like burn the first star that's in that little quadrant. So that first star was just like being crazy, like RNG in our way, either in the melees group, like, or the range group. So we would like pump it, kill it, and then somebody wouldn't move, they wouldn't adjust, and they would get phased into the little void dimension. And if it's a DPS like a warlock or a mage, they can't heal themselves, then they're just gonna go in there, tick damage, and just die.
I gotta tell you what I saw. This was not you doing this, but you did say it was going to happen, like in the stream. So a void got dropped right next to the boss, and the melee was on the right side, and then a Cosmic Smash came, and the melee switched sides, and some of them just walked into the void, and I was like, bro, you don't see the big black circle there? And they got shoved into the other zone, and obviously it's a loss of DPS. They could die there. All kinds of other things could happen. But yeah, but the tank didn't move. So like, and they want to parse. They're trying to squeeze in that little spot in between the tank and the thing. It was so funny to watch people just like do right to the void zone.
Yeah, there was some range that like I don't know how they didn't get ported. Like a mage would blink Like we would have the Cosmic Smash and all of our range stacks. So like all the range know where to go for the next Cosmic Smash. So like the mages are just in the habit of like turning and blinking
Yeah.
and then getting back their uptime. The warlocks are used to just taking their portal.
Oh, that was the other thing is there was a star ended up on a portal of two or one or two warlocks, and you were like hoping the warlock would take his portal into the zone.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it's just Locke's about to take this and get instantly like phased.
The thing is, like I said, like what I watched, it didn't look like you guys were making big mistakes. Like it looked like everyone was doing their job. Call outs are being made, cooldowns are being cooled down.
Cooled.
Yeah, everyone, but you guys just were like, it was just every once in a while someone would just die, and then like once you have a tank death, it's just like you're then fighting backwards against everything else, and yeah, I don't know, but that's not the end of it. So like
no, there's
Algalon,
plenty more.
You gave up, and then you struggled on. You didn't struggle on Algalon or
Kologarn,
but let's take a pause because this is the feral side. Table Slam, I think number 36 in the world.
Yeah, crushed it.
Using the Mangle glyph, the Berserk glyph, and the probably the Mangle idol, and he did the swipe strat on the edge and jumped and hit all three targets at the same time. Definitely check that out. 34. Sorry, Table. 34.
Yeah, it's like correction, not 36.
But that's really good. A, really good for Table. But B, also like maybe that's the strat now, because honestly, I don't know many ferals that even enjoy that fight anymore, because you can't shred, and because you can't shred, you can't pump, and you're just kind of like. But that again, Table, I will tell you, every person I talk to says either yeah, it worked great, or oh, I fell and died. Like those are the only two scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like I look like an idiot because I fell.
All right, so go ahead. I was gonna say, tell me the next one, because Kologarn, you guys didn't do? Here's a question. I missed this part because I was jumping around. Why did you guys skip Oriaya and like have to like work around her the whole night? Like, what was that?
All right, let me do Kologarn real quick.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So Kologarn, we've changed the strategy, and that was like our fastest Kologarn kill at 1:12. So we knocked 9 seconds off of our previous fastest attempt, and it's because we're not burning the right hand immediately and then going to the body. We're just pumping body, and then if somebody gets gripped by the right hand, we hit the right hand until they get knocked out, and then about 30% we just finish cleaving off the right and left hand. So it's speeding up the kill, but I don't think it's more beneficial for me as a boomy. My parses have gone down, so that's I'm blaming that. Yeah. But Table knocked it out of the park. Awesome. On that attempt, especially with Table. Like who knows if he's done that strategy that way before or not, and he's just like his first night with the raid.
Yeah, like, well, if you move to a bigger pumper raid, your parses are going to go up just because they're downing the boss faster. And and mechanics like that actually do benefit from, a faster kill. I mean, everything benefits from a faster kill, for sure. So, okay, tell me about Oriaya. I need to understand what's going on with this.
So earlier in the day yesterday, there was some discussion on Discord, and they're like, there's some people that are more focused on getting achievements in the raid. So back in Nax, there was there was a small group of people in Nax that were like, yo, is it 4 Horsemen week? Are we doing 4 Horsemen achievement this week? And I was like, please no. So like at the afternoon of yesterday, I thought that it was discussed and decided not this week. We're not doing the Ariaya achievement because that's the last one we have to do. We did the Razor Scale one, and Ariaya is the last to get the mount or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to the raid and we're like dodging Ariaya. We're like, all right, let's do Hodir. Let's do Freya. Let's do Memoron. And I'm like, why are we skipping this? And I was like, oh, they must have decided and changed it that Thursday, tomorrow, we're going to do the Ariaya achievement.
Oh, so you were setting it aside. Okay, because I was like, you only need Thorum to do the strat. If you don't know the strat, I don't feel like telling it. But like you can kite all the ads while you kill Oriaya, and they use Thorum's room because you can go up and over, I think.
Well, they were throwing out tens of different. They were putting videos out there from all these different strategies for it, and I think their strategy is to kite it to Memoron. So I don't know. We'll see tomorrow what ends up happening with that.
For sure, man. The title of Is Wrath Dying has become a big topic in the comments, and we haven't even gotten to it yet. I feel bad because we're but so yeah, you guys definitely struggled, which happens. Like sometimes you just like, honestly, I think this is a tough decision because you want to get Algalon out of the way, because the good loot, you can, get them all prepped and everything if you want for like later loot. Plus it can help you make decisions on who to give loot to on other things because it's such a good loot. But if you don't down Algalon, it really can discourage the whole rest of the raid, because you're just like,
yeah,
what are we doing? So
yeah,
on the flip side,
it's sour taste in everyone's mouth for sure.
On the flip side, the guild I run with now, we downed the whole raid in 1 hour and 48 minutes.
And this is 25 man, right?
25 man.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 hour 48 minutes, and we beat at the time we beat the server record by over 30 minutes. Since then, however, my old guild that they replaced me because I had to go for a while, they actually did it within 20 minutes of us, so we no longer have the 30-minute gap. I think they did it. We did 140. They did it in 205, I think. So they're right there. Yeah, 17 minutes or so. So yeah, so it's kind of cool that like we're kind of like competing with them. But I want to point out something that Table might relate to. In the one that I ran, I was in raid 2 on my guild. This week I got moved to raid 1. And I will tell you that when you run with a raid where everyone's played together, they don't communicate stuff because everyone gets it. Everyone just knows. And that caused a lot of like kind of like sore spots for me. Like on Algalon, I'm used to going from the left leg to the right, and they on the first one go left and then they move up into the left, and I ran the wrong way and got killed. And yeah, that's on me. But like they didn't tell me that. They just did it slightly different than what I was used to. And then like the tank apparently wasn't hitting really hard on Ignis, and he said in the chat, "Hey, I only hit him twice." And I was just like doing my rotation because it's Ignis, it's a single target. I pulled threat and died. And he's like, I told you guys I only hit him twice. I was like, I don't know who you are. Like I don't like you didn't say the tank. I thought you were just chatting, So like stuff like that where like everyone knows who the tank is and I have no clue. Small stuff like that. But on the other side of that, we flew. And the thing is, we weren't even going for speed. Our main focus was no wipes. We just don't want to wipe. So before every pull, raid leader said, listen, no wipes tonight. Focus up. Let's get it down. We weren't rushing. We weren't running. We weren't rocket booting every corner. Even though I do want to point out, I think this week someone did sub 1 hour. Alduar. So even 148 feels great to me. Some people are doing this thing in under an hour, which is absolutely nuts. But yeah,
they probably got 3 Valeniers already from doing split runs and GDKPs.
My old guild just got their first Valenier, but they're getting their second one next week because they brought someone in that had 25 shards already. Dang. So yeah, like a lot of people. Yeah, you're right though. People in those speed runs, they probably like full Velen arm, one in each hand, and just
yeah,
the warriors have them. I don't know. But yeah, definitely.
Well, we had like 16 total wipes, I think, last night, and 10 of them were Algalon. We wiped on Memoron at the end of the night twice. I think we had a Freya wiper too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, it was
brutal, man.
It was tough to watch. I will tell you. Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you guys don't know Go, he doesn't really get angry. You can tell he was getting frustrated last night, which was kind of half the amusing part for me, because I was like, oh, Go's getting worked up. This will be good. This will be real good. But yeah,
it was hard for me to like keep track. It's like, did I cue my mic? Did I use my push to talk when I said something?
You definitely did. You said
it came through.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah. You said it.
I was like, what? Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Because I was on table stream when I heard you say it, and I was like, oh, he's. Hey, what's up, Sabby?
Yeah.
Sabitube? But yeah.
I had just said before that attempt, I was like DMing in game my buddy Super Trippy, our warrior, and I was like, yo, like I was making jokes like on the trash packs before Freya, and I was like, yo, man, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. like it's kind of rough in here. And then the very next pool, I'm the one that's queuing up like, what are you guys
what are we doing?
I was like, man, that was a quick turnaround. Like
And
that, it just really got to me.
You
man.
guys scuffed the Mimi trash too.
Uh,
Like you just had like some weird pulls. I was like, what are they doing? Like, what is going on? But yeah, for sure. That was hopefully next week. It's a lot better.
Yeah, hopefully tomorrow because we still have a lot left for tomorrow.
Did you get any gear this week?
This week, not on the main boomy. And I didn't even buy anything in the GTKP on my second boomy, but I have a third boomy now. And that boomy got hooked up in a 10-man.
Man, that's nuts that you're running 3 now. I finally got Mjolnir, which is a huge upgrade. Yeah, but I haven't even seen Dreambinder yet. So a little triggered. But yeah, definitely. That was the only upgrade I got, I think. No, I got the General's Cloak too, which is like BIS for my setup. I think there might be a slightly better one. Icy Talons. But yeah. Okay, so we're gonna kind of pivot a little bit into talking about some of this stuff that's been going on this week, and it's gonna lead into the kind of the title, which is Is Wrath Dying? So first, the bots. So if you guys haven't heard, there was 120,000 bots that were banned, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know why we get excited about this. This literally has zero effect on anything. Like the bots are not gone. Like
I tested it last night. Yeah, I was sitting there. I was slash whoing all these dungeons. There wasn't that many though.
Thanks, Abel.
There was there was less than 10.
The ban is real. Like they got deleted, and then they just it's like mowing your lawn. Like, yeah, you mowed your lawn, but you're not like, cool, I mowed it. Never again will I have to deal with my lawn. No, like 2 weeks you're gonna go back and it's gonna be the one big change they did make though is you can no longer be a fresh 55. So if you guys don't remember when Wrath first got announced, they said if you want to come back to the game, you could have a 55 Death Knight right off the snap and start playing the game. That, however, was a gateway for a lot of these bots to be able to have a 55 instantly without having to level anything. So they took that away, which I don't think anyone's mad about that. I think people that wanted to play have gotten to play the Death Knight. And if you don't already have a 55 or above by now, I mean, you're probably not going to have one. Let's be honest. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be like, do you think these changes are actually ever going to, what can they do to make bots go away? Maybe that's the question.
Just have, bring GMs back into actually being in the game.
Like real human beings?
Yeah, like human beings that have a character on each realm and they can teleport around and they can like watch the players do what they're doing.
You just gave me a big brain idea. Are you ready?
Yeah.
They use Chat GPT to work as GMs within the game to better detect, like I honestly think AI actually might be decent for that. Like a GM exists, you type to it and say, listen, this guy's doing some stuff. They can better organize and like correlate. I don't know what Chat GPT does, but I do think it could do something like that, which I think would be really cool. And I know it's stupid because Chat GPT, but like, come on, let's do some things like that. Yeah. Use a bot. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Let them fight each other. Like just go off to the side.
There's so many videos of people that are like big content creators and they have just videos of them just going /who Botanica and a whole 50 like DKs come up that their name is like XQYWIIRT and they're not in a guild. It's like it's not that hard. Like I don't know
that's what I mean though. Like I don't think a basic system can find that, but I think AI could. Like here's the criteria for bots.
Person. Give me a GM.
If one GM went on each server once a day, I think they'd be more effective than you're probably right. Like whatever these 120,000 bans, like that's great. They do these bans, and I get why they do like kind of like a secret ban, like where they don't like announce like the criteria. They just like ban hammer everything, so that they can't build these bots to figure out how to bypass it. Like, oh, if we don't do this, like we won't get flagged. So Man, if they're
So
ever,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
could they implement something? So like when you go to a website and you put in your information, there's the Gasha test or
Yeah, the
whatever, like the
captcha,
I am not a
captcha.
robot captcha.
I'm a human. Yeah,
Could they implement that in game? So let's say they see
that's been
somebody
suggested.
questionable.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
been suggested.
somebody's questionable looking. They're doing something weird that looks body-ish. They have to do one of these tests
I don't
before
mind
they
that.
can continue playing their character again.
Yeah, like even like let's say I once every 10 minutes, um, if you get reported, you have to do a captcha. Like so that someone like listen, if someone thinks I'm botting and they report me for botting, I'll get a little captcha pop up, be like, oh no, I'm not a bot, it's cool, and then I'm good for maybe 10 minutes isn't good, but like for an hour they know I'm a real person. And if people keep thinking, yeah, I got to deal with that, but like if you're doing farming that makes you look like a bot, stop it. Like stop doing it.
Or can they just detect that, okay, this character has, for the last 30
Yeah.
days, they've maxed their 30 lockouts in Botanica.
They've never left
Is
Botanica.
this questionable? Yeah, is this questionable activity? Like, should we look into this guy? Like,
yeah.
I'm sure has to be a metric that Blizzard can see and use to detect these bots better. But
no, what did they do with Dota, Dan? I'm really curious because
Dan hammered 40K.
Well, here's the thing, like private servers do not have bot problems apparently. So they must have something implemented that doesn't have like that doesn't have the same issues that Blizzard has. And maybe because they're private servers, they don't have to follow like terms of service. Like if you're in Botanica all day, you're a bot, but does that violate your terms of service? Not really. Like unless in our terms of service it says bot-like behavior, yeah, ban them. But that means anybody can get banned for anything. So I don't know. I'd be really curious to hear what they do. Yeah, just have GMs. Is that what the solution is?
Hey,
they hire one guy, pay him $15 an hour to play WoW. I'm sure they could find somebody. I would do it. I would do it.
From what I've heard, the cat. Was it you that didn't like me saying something? How do I say it? Private
just
server?
Say private server. Just say private
so
server.
There was a recent private server that started for a certain expansion of.
You can stop. Everyone knows what you're talking about.
And I guess the GMs are really solid in that. Like people say that they put in a bug report for a dungeon, like a door's not opening or something, like it closed and they can't get through this door. They do a ticket and then like boom, a GM is there, opens the door for them.
I'll go one step further. They not only fix bugs quickly, they have good communication with the community. Like, hey, we're fixing this right now. Hey, we're doing a thing. We get one blue post every other month. And we're like, oh guys, like it's stupid. Like they were during the launch, there was actually a Discord created for the launch, and I don't know if it was probably before the launch, but like it was there, and you could actually go and see all the things they were currently doing and why they were doing what they were doing in real time. And that's something that Blizzard cannot apparently afford. And I don't get it. They're on a budget. Yeah, exactly. Well, and then I will point out too, we're going to talk about hardcore in a little bit too, but also all these hardcore tournaments, they are ran by volunteer people helping out. Like, and I was even talking to Go, and I think I talked to Table about this too. I wouldn't mind hopping on a level 60 on a private or on a hardcore server and protecting people that are doing the hardcore challenges to help out, not because I'm getting paid for it, because I think it'd be fun to make the game better and protect it from like the trolls and the bots and things like that. And I don't think anyone would have a problem like, hey, you get a month free if once a week you work as a GM, on Tuesdays or whatever day is like the most issue. I think that'd be kind of cool. And I don't know why Blizzard is so hesitant about all these like easy ideas, easy solutions. But yeah, 120,000 bots got deleted. Cool. That's where I'm at. Yeah. Oh, cool. Finally.
It is kind of wild when I see thumbnails from videos where it's like Flare of the Heavens went for 300K.
Yeah.
Like what?
Did you
like
so Sarth actually talked about that in his 120,000 bot video where one guy spent over 1 million gold in one raid.
Yeah, like
and you're like, come on.
And that they didn't spend everything. They're not
You know
They're
they
not at
didn't
0
earn
gold
that.
now.
Yeah, you know they didn't earn that either. You know they bought it. Like there's no doubt. And I don't want to get into it because we'll just get we'll go down a rabbit hole.
They've got 5 tunes at gold cap. Like,
yeah,
it's insane.
So now with the ban, a lot of people are talking about like, oh, it's great, they're bringing the populations down or whatever, but there's kind of something else that actually Go pointed out and we want to talk about today, which was the population drop that we're seeing. And now there's a lot of caveats here, but let's just put on the screen what we're talking about. Hopefully this is the right one. Yeah, okay, great. So Go, can you see it? I don't know if you can see. It'll be a second. Yeah.
I was gonna pull it back up. I just had the chat pop back up. But if it's the Ironforge one, I have it up on my screen.
So there's a website called ironforge.pro that tracks all of the gaming that's done, like all the people that essentially they're taking classic Warcraft logs and they're tracking it to see who's playing the game, to give you an idea of like the people. Now there's a lot of caveats to this. This is just a collection of all of the logs. But people have multiple characters. Like Go has three he raids with. I raid with 1 because I'm 4. On top of that, this doesn't account for people that don't raid. Some people just play heroics or just level, and that's completely fine too, but it's not factored in. But overall, this is a pretty good idea of not necessarily like how many people, but like the concept there is a lot of people. And in this graph, you can actually see that there is a clear chunk. Like this is for the whole of classic WoW. So you can see classic, and then it's like, here, let me put it on my screen so I can actually break it down. So you can see classic is divided like right here. This is classic. This is TBC right here. And then you can see where Wrath kicked in, which is this huge peak right here. Now, the thing that we want to talk about, which was like the main kind of spark for this conversation, was, are we losing people more rapidly than we should? So if you look, it's kind of hard to see on the screen because it might be a little small, but from 221 to 227, there were 465,000. Now, if you go back 1 week before that, from 214 to 220, there were 484,000. So we already lost 20,000. Not a big deal. It happens. Maybe someone didn't raid, whatever. But the next week after that, it's now all the way down to 404. So just over a 2 week span, you lost over 85,000 logs. Mm-hmm. So first of all, again, this doesn't account for all players in the game. Logs are not the same thing as a, like what Blizzard could put out, what they used to back in the day, where it says like how many people are actually like how many subs. This is not a exact 1-to-1 sub thing. And it doesn't account for bots because bots usually don't raid. So there's that whole factor there. But what's causing these dips? Because you saw there's a dip right here. I think this is right around Christmas. We had a dip here and then it picked right back up. But what is causing this? Is this just people burned out on Alduar? Like,
I think so. I think a lot of guilds are at that point where they wanted to progress through the hard modes. They didn't get through all the hard modes because this is week 9, I think, right now. So it's like at this point we've been in Ulduar for 2 months, and the guilds that haven't full cleared all the hard modes, I think are just kind of like, well, we gave it our best shot. There might be 10, 15 people in those guilds that are like, I'm here to clear all these hard modes. And then there might be 5 to 10 that are like, dude, like, I don't really care. I'm just here to raid, get some loot, like hang out and chill. And those guilds, which I think the majority of the guilds are like that, they're just like, they're disbanding. The people that want to clear the content are trying to like leave, go to a guild that is clearing that content or is close to it. And then the other ones are just going to be like, yeah, that's cool. I'll just wait until ICC.
Yeah. Didn't Tables Guild disband?
Yeah, Tables disbanded.
Well, so on my server, another fellow druid friend of mine, Angelfire, their guild called We Pulled apparently fell apart this week. And I'm not saying I've never seen a guild fall apart, but not in the middle normally of a a phase, especially middle phase. Like, yeah, like the last phase, you see like them start separating and like, having to rebuild, restack. But this seems like a weird time, but maybe, I don't know, because the other thing you might notice from this graph is that Wrath absolutely pumped out logs.
Oh
Now,
yeah, like
does this
doubled almost
does this
from
mean that like
TBC.
what I want to know is this a correlation saying that Wrath had a peak of players, or that Wrath is so alt friendly that everyone's running multiple alts? Because first of all, everyone expected Wrath to look like this, but we don't know, because Wrath is so alt friendly, if this is just everyone has two characters and that's all we're seeing, or is Wrath really this popular and we're just now getting back to the hype is over kind of phase. Yeah, people chill. Hold on, I want to read some comments.
Okay.
So Pandrama says that is happening to my guild at the moment. Does that mean it's falling apart, Pandrama? Sorry to hear that, man. It is rough when you're like, you don't want to fall apart, but like you have no control over your guild collapsing around you, because you know it's not your guild. And even if it is, like if you're a GM, like what can you do? People just don't want to play anymore. People chilling and wanting hard mode gear but can't do the content, and the people that can do the content want an easier time. I think it's interesting because my guild, I'm pretty new to it, but everyone in my guild is pretty pumper still. We have downed every hard mode, and I think they've done Yogg 0. I haven't though. They don't do Yogg 0 every week because it is hard apparently. Like legit, like it's like 3 Drakes. Like you do it once for the achievement, and then you're like during phase 1, I should say, because now it's like a joke to do 3 Drakes. But during, you're like, yeah, we did it. Let's just do the 2 Drakes this week, or and Yogg 1 is kind of like that. Like let's just do Yogg 1. We'll do Yogg 0 like when we absolutely need to. But other than that, like it's gear. People are still getting gear, but like next week we're planning on doing achievements. And if all the achievements are done and all the gear is got, do people just stop playing? Or because I don't know.
I mean, I'm still far away from getting full best in slot. I've got like 2 pieces of 252, I think. I'm loads away from like, I probably have like 8 pieces, and I'm prioed like really far down the line on probably 6 of those 8 pieces.
Do you think Alduar is actually a big divider, where the people that can do the content are doing it at a steady pace and they're getting all their loot, and there's just such a large swath of people that aren't able to get into the hard modes, aren't able to even clear all the way to Yogg, things like that. And because of that, you've got way over geared and then way under geared, and the under geared are just like, you know what, all I hear is people full clear hard mode, and that's not my guild, and so I'm done. When in reality, they're probably the majority, and the only people that brag are the ones that have done all the hard modes, and they're the only ones you hear. Because, like, again, we talked about this 20-30 minutes ago. Your guild, which is a good guild, struggle bust the hell through Alduar this week. Even though you've downed a lot of those bosses easily, you guys just had a bad week, and it happens. And worse guilds have had worse times. Like, imagine if you're not as good as you, how hard of a time Freya might be. And, like, get out of the beams. You got to break the roots. Like, how many times we had a bad Freya where we were getting the bombs, and then right after the bombs, the roots were going out, and the casters were getting in the roots, and none of the melee wanted to run back and help them, because we're like, no, like, I'm not dying.
Yeah, I'm not getting hit by the bomb.
Yeah. And that's just bad RNG for us, but for other guilds, for other raids, that's a wipe. And that could get really frustrating and, and start, graining on you, be like, come on, this isn't a hard fight, but bad RNG.
Yeah, I mean, people are trying to use that excuse. Well, all the item levels buffed, so that's the nerf. So, like at this point, everybody should be geared enough to be able to do all these things. Well, yes and no, because I
have something to say. Go ahead. I want to hear what you think.
You even need gear to do the hard modes in 10-man, and like so if you're progressing, 10-man normal, 10-man like hard mode, and then like normal 25. Hard mode 25, it's still a challenge. And then even still, if like a 252 or 245 from 10-man or whatever drops, who knows if somebody's in that raid that actually can use that loot? It could be going to DE. You could get the same 252 piece from XT week after week, and like you're getting 252 loot, amazing, but it's turning into a crystal.
Yeah. Well, I'll go one further. People say that the gear is the nerf, but even before they announced that, people weren't saying like, oh man, you need the gear because you like we need to down the bosses. The bosses were hard because the mechanics were much more complicated than anything before. I mean, maybe Somewhat Plateau might have something similar mechanic wise, but for the most part, unless you're picking on like Lady Vash, like, you know, singling out individual bosses, nothing compares to a full raid where every fight, for the exception of maybe Ignis, but even Ignis had mechanics at first. We got really quick to ignore them.
Yeah, we
And
figured out how
razor
to
scale.
bypass that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the mechanics are the challenge. The gear was never and in order to get the gear, you have to down the bosses. So the gear doesn't really solve the problem initially. It'll make Trial of the Crusader much easier. I will say that the gear in Alduar will make trial, because like I've been looking at phase 3, and I kind of mentioned this before. I don't want to get too much into P3 yet, but like I mentioned that phase 3, unless you're doing heroics, there's not many upgrades in your gear. Like, yeah, they might be slight upgrades, but honestly, a lot of your Alduar gear, especially the 2-5 higher, is gonna hold up all the way through Trial of the Crusader. And there's even pieces that you're gonna keep through phase 3 into phase 4. So I mean, I don't know about you personally, but ferals have at least 2 pieces that like they'll chill out with. So
Yeah, there was 2 for me. There's a ring and a trinket. So Flare of the Heavens and Conductor Seal.
Yeah, Mjolnir and Bran. Yeah,
that was for the set that I came up with. There's another set where you could just have the trinket and get like a different ring. But yeah, like, so yeah, the trinkets are huge. But somebody pointed out a little bit earlier, there's nothing to do at the State of Wrath, which I think that's like also true.
Yeah,
like there's the heroic pluses, which everybody did the first like 2 weeks just to get the emblems of conquest, and then like, no, dude, like, we're not.
I don't even do them anymore. No, because if you're doing Alduar every week, you're generating enough that all you're doing with them now is turning them into orbs and selling them on the auction house, which is fine. Yeah. But you don't need to do a heroic plus anymore. And like, I literally we have a new Azul Narab or whatever that was called, AN.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, not gonna do it this week or today, because who cares? And you're right. So Epitomizer points out that these heroic pluses, I mean, he's talking about a lot here, but I kind of want to talk about the heroic pluses and specifically. They are a great idea, but they are limited, and they're great for people catching up. They're not end game heroics. They're not like they're not the same thing as Mythic Plus, where Mythic Pluses are an end game contact. Like a Mythic Plus 15, I don't know what the number is anymore, Dan. You have to help me out. But like idea. 26, I don't know what the yeah, but like that's content that will continue to be relevant. Heroic Pluses were irrelevant on day 1. They were relevant because of the emblems of conquest, but once you got Alduar, they're completely irrelevant for gear and for emblems. So, and I'm not taking any shots at Heroic Plus. I think it was a great idea as kind of like a stopgap. It just wasn't a full solution for the content drought. And if you think the content drought is bad now, Trial of the Crusader is a very small raid. You're going to be running Trial of the Crusader one day and Alduar the second day. And if you're not burned out on Alduar already, it's going to be rough, because if you're not clearing through Alduar, maybe it's good for you because your Trial of the Crusader gear will make it easier to get through Alduar. But honestly, for people that are already sitting at the end of the content, it's going to be a really boring, like 1 month of TOTGC, whatever the letters are, Trials of the Grand Crusader. TOTGC.
People call it talk. Is it talk?
Yeah, talk. Whoa. This is a kid's show.
Freudian slip, sorry.
But yeah, but like talk, we'll call it talk. Talk is very short. Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about talk is it actually does have like stuff around it. Like you have the new heroics come out. You have all the pets and stuff you can farm, and the quests and things like that. So that's cool. But yeah, like I think this number on this chart is just going to keep dropping. And I don't think the spike for TOGC is going to be anywhere near what it was for Alduar. Even though it looks like Nax had a bigger spike, the reality is that big spike is probably just from the hype of Wrath in general. Mm-hmm. And Alduar having a spike is a big deal. And I don't think you're going to see that in Talk. You might see it in ICC. And yeah.
People probably leveled up, got some Nax gear, and they're like, all right, I'm just chilling until ICC comes out.
All right, so I'm gonna read. Wow, there's a lot here. So, oh, you know what? Let me put this on the screen. I forgot that's a thing I do. There we go. Okay, so I'm reading back a little bit though, but Raindar says, as far as the numbers go, I think a lot of it comes from Alduar hard modes being too difficult for alt runs. So now that people don't need things from normal modes, many of the alt runs are stopping. Ooh, I don't know. I will tell you, as far as alts go, alt 10-mans are huge. I know everyone takes their alts, and TOGC is going to be even worse because you're going to be able to go into Trial of the Crusader with an alt that's under geared and gear them up faster, comparably faster than you ever could in Alduar. So like, I think you're right. I think maybe the alt runs for 25-mans are going to fade, but personally, I think 10-man alt runs are just constantly. And then, I'm going to read Dan's whole comment. Here's one of the big issues with the non-dedicated heroic difficulty. It's also true with it, but guilds are more prepared when the whole raid is set to heroic. You need the right mindset for progression fights. People who aren't afraid to wipe, reset, and go again. Even if you're parsing well, but are down 3 DPS, everyone die. The bigger caveat to Alduar that's not true in ICC is you can simply opt out of the hard mode. You know, that's interesting because we are going in phase 3. We're going from hard modes to the regular / heroic. And I'm curious, I kind of talk about like, I don't know how it's going to go, but also how big of a game changer is that going to be for us? Like how are people going to treat that? Because are they going to have, go ahead.
Is it, you can toggle each boss. So like TOC, I have no clue like what is ahead. Like I briefly did it back in the day. I was more PvP focused back then. Mm-hmm. So is it like 5 bosses and they're random?
I think there's 4. I don't think it's 4? Random. It's, oh man, it's a snake worm dude. It's a big dude. It's twins. And then it's the PvP thing. And then it's the final boss. I think. I haven't been in Trial of the Crusader since Trial of the Crusader back in the day. But I do remember all the boss fights are in the arena. You never go anywhere. And you just have to fight like a champion. It's kind of like Arena of Anguish, and then you drop down the floor and you fight a noob Rakan or whatever his name is.
I don't remember that. I remember like the Dark Knight or something, like the Black Knight.
That's the 5-man.
Came down.
That's the 5-man. Yeah.
All right.
In the same arena though, so that makes sense that you'd think of it like that because it's done in the exact same look. Okay. But yeah. So if the Switch is, if we're talking about like the Switch, the way you're like. Okay, so let me back up and explain it so everyone's on the same page. Back in the day, you could either run regular or heroic versions of any 10 or 25. So you could go in and do the 10-man regular. You could then go in and do the 10-man heroic. I believe that's how it worked back then. They're not going to allow you to do that now. Instead, you could either do the 10-man regular or the 10-man heroic. Now, you had to choose before you entered how it went. In later expansions, they made it so you could toggle per boss. And they've mentioned in like Blizzard, interviews and stuff,
community council
that they might make it so that each boss you can flip a switch so you can pick and choose which boss to. And I think that would be really good for people that struggle. Like imagine going into a heroic Alduar and you've got to do everything in hard mode and you get to Mimiron and you just can't down it and you're stuck because you can't get past Mimiron. It'd be great to just toggle a switch and say, okay, we're going to do regular. And I think Mimiron's a great example because I think that, or XT might be a better one because it's a big gatekeeper for a lot of other bosses. Whereas like, we can't down XT, we can't down XT. And instead of being stuck in heroic mode, you can be like, okay, we'll just do the regular, we'll get through it and we'll do heroic IC and stuff like that. So essentially they're adopting the hard mode, easy mode concept in later ones that didn't have that. If that's the case, I actually think that'd be really good for people that struggle. But yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, I think it'd be great. If they do it though, is a completely different question.
So the only thing with like phase 3 that has caught my attention, and I'm like, is this a good thing? Is the encounter thing. So it's like if you clear it without wiping, you get X loot. You clear it within 45 to 50 or 45 to 49 encounters left, you get another set of loot. Like that stuff just. It seems really weird.
I'm really excited. Okay, I'm really excited because Blizzard is willing to make these changes to make it a little bit more fun. However, it sucks that it's Blizzard. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's like you
Yeah.
get to go on vacation, but your stepdad gets to choose where you go, and you're like, I would go on vacation, but God, this could be really bad. You know what I mean?
Got the
Like
itinerary. Like, all right, we're waking up at 7 p.m.
Yeah. We're gonna go fishing. I don't want to fish.
Breakfast from 7:15 to 7:30.
Okay, so the bosses are. Thank you, Dan. By the way, the bosses are Beasts of Northrend, Jaraxxus. I'm pretty sure that's the snake-looking dude. I can't think of it. Faction champions. That's like the PvP one. Twin Valkyries. That's the twins where you have to like. It's like black and white things. You have to click them, and then a Nubricon, which is the one down under. Really short raid though, because you're just there. Like, there's no. I don't think there's any trash. Is there?
People are saying it's really short, that it's going to be with like under an hour, but I'm wondering, like, are people going to get there and struggle on it, and then it's going to be like, yo, everybody's saying that this is a really short raid, but it's taking our guild 3 hours to clear this.
Well, so going back to like the hype of Ulduar. Okay, you have to admit Ulduar was hyped, right? People were like, Ulduar, oh man, this is going to be a tough. And don't get me wrong, I think Ulduar has held up as a really. I think I was very dismissive early on when I got into it. I was like, it's okay. I'm actually enjoying it more and more now that we're doing hard modes. Like, and I think we've talked about this. When you go from doing a hard mode to doing an easy mode, you're like, this is dumb. Like, this is
easy mode is garbage.
Yeah. Just wait till they nerf it, because oh my god. But anyway,
man.
But I think that the hype of Ulduar was earned and legitimate. But is Trial of the Crusader going to have anything near that kind of hype? I mean, Trial of the Crusader is the cataclysm of Wrath, where everyone's like, I'm not, that's stupid. I don't want, like, they're like, I'll come back for ICC. You know what I mean? Like, they're already like, Warlords of Draenor. Nobody's saying that, but like, you know, people are sitting there already like dismissing Trial of the Crusader. Is that good? Is that bad?
I mean,
because you set the bar low, and then it's like, oh, this is actually fun. I could see that being a good thing, but
I still enjoy raiding now on like 3.5 tunes like every week. But like people were talking earlier in the chat like how it's a content drought. So like the only new content really in phase 3 that people that are really like min-maxy sweaty are gonna have is like a 45-minute raid. Like an hour raid, and that like, so it's just people are just going to be raid logging like even more in phase 3 than they are starting to do in phase 2.
I think the saving grace of Wrath with the combination of these is that it's so alt friendly, because like you're saying, like I'm doing this on three tunes, and that's great because even if you're like, okay, well, I've beaten this, I have all the loot I need. My alt doesn't, so I can now put more focus on alt, maybe get that guy into the main raid, you know, swap him out, things like that. I do want to talk about what Raindor said, because another interesting thing. Raindor said, I do wonder how they will treat hard mode loot from Ulduar 10-man in Heroic Plus, given most of it will be better than TOC normal 10-man. I think I think Ulduar 10-man. I mean, Ulduar, the gear boost actually creates a lot of problems for Blizzard, because, okay, let's say they do the same thing they did with Nax 10 gear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what about, I mean, I guess it's really going to depend. I haven't looked at 5-man and 5-man heroic of Trial of the Crusader gear. Does that make it irrelevant? Does the gear from Ulduar drop in those two 5-mans as well? Because then it makes those just absolutely a must everyday raid, because you're getting both the Trial of the Crusader heroic plus or heroic gear plus the heroic plus from Ulduar 10-man, and that is absolutely like bonkers good gear. Like it, like he said, like it's going to be better than Ulduar 10 or 10-man TOC, which
I mean, if Ulduar 25 loot goes to Ulduar 10, like Nax 25 went to Nax 10. I don't think it'll be as bad, but even still, like
do that. I never figured out what they do with loot.
Yeah, so Nax 10 right now, you get Nax 25 loot.
Okay.
And then Nax 25, you get Nax 25 loot and an additional piece of loot. But for the like heroics, a lot of people did the heroic like pluses to get the emblems, and that was for like the crafted gear. Well, the new crafted gear I think is only 245. So if you already have like your
Yeah.
two like 239 piece, are you really gonna like try
No,
to min max and get another 6 eye levels on a crafted piece
I did not
and
see
like
any
get the
crafted
mats for
gear.
all of that?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-mm.
so yeah, like that was the big pull for me was I wanted to get those ruined orbs in phase 2 from getting the heroics done to buy them and not have to like wait for the raids or anything. But yeah, like if they only have 245 crafted gear, I'm not gonna worry about it. Like,
There's so many layers to this too, because another thing that we have to talk about with Trial of the Crusader is I don't think there's any pre-nerf, post-nerf, because I don't think there were any nerfs in it, or there weren't any big nerfs. So like you could be like, oh, it's okay, they'll boost it, and maybe they will, but currently there's no big boosts to the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like they would have to boost up Trial of the Crusader how do I say this? Like as if they've never done Trial of the Crusader before. Like, man, I can't think of how to say this word. But like imagine Trial of the Crusader heroic is super hard, but they need to make it even harder to make it a challenge for people. That's beyond what they've ever done before, which is running a risk of making a game too hard for the casuals. So they can't boost it. So what do? How do they fix it?
do they use their system that they put in the heroic pluses where they can have the affix or whatever? So it's
Yeah.
gonna be X percentage, like 100% extra health, 30% extra damage, like the heroic pluses, but like tuned down. So it's like 20% extra health, 5% extra damage, or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they could switch that,
and
tool
maybe
from
that's
the
what they
dungeons
do.
to that.
Maybe that's what they do is they just, instead of like making the mechanics harder, they just beef it up a little bit to make the scaling better. I guess that's probably the better solution. I want to point out that Mincy kind of pointed this out. Our best in slot trinket is Mjolnir, which is a 10-man trinket, which means in theory it would drop from a 5-man in phase 3. So your best in slot can now be achieved by running a heroic plus, I guess, which is absolutely absurd, but also kind of crazy to think.
Make that mandatory.
Yeah,
whatever heroic plus that goes to.
Make it the worst one. Make it Calling of Strathholm, because nobody likes to run it.
They'll do the new one. They'll put it in one of the new heroics for sure.
I think if they do, they need to like really look at like the BIS list and bury the BIS gear in places where people aren't willing to go.
Can I
hard mode that they could just yeah.
How do I switch my camera to show my screen, or can I pull up my screen?
No,
will that
it'll break everything. It'll break everything. Okay. Yeah. What are you trying to show?
I just wanted to prove Mincy wrong, because I love proving Mincy wrong. But according to Atlas Loot, the crafted gear is 245 eye level for TOC. Okay. But maybe that
232 is the eye level of the gear we just crafted in phase 2. So yeah, it's got to be higher. Yeah.
8. Well, so yeah, I mean 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 extra eye level for the crafted pieces, but it's only chest and bracers, which is it's weird to have it be chest, but that's for casters. I don't know if like blacksmithing has different stuff.
Touching on your tier sets though, you know what I mean? Like, are you gonna give up tier?
Yeah, for everything's wrist, chest. So like,
yeah. Well, the wrist might be interesting. I'd be interested in seeing where that falls. But the problem is, like I said, I was doing BIS lists. I don't have a finished BIS list for phase 3 yet. But I'm pretty close, and I will tell you right now, there's not a single non-heroic mode item in my list, with the exception of like a Mjolnir and Bran, which is from Alduar. Like everything is heroic or nothing. Like there were no, not to say that hard or regular doesn't have some upgrades. It just doesn't have any BIS. There's no BIS. Like there currently is in non-hard modes. There are actually BIS items for people. Yeah. In order to like get your BIS, you're gonna have to go into the big boys stuff and call me out.
I think that's what I did too. Oh yeah. I love.
So do you think that do you think this trend, I'm kind of going back to Ironforge.pro, do you think this trend is going to continue? This is just a blooper? And do you think Blizzard is going to react in any way, regardless if it's real or not?
So. You touched earlier on like the last 2 weeks. So we went from 484,000 population according to the website down to just over 400,000, 404,000 in 2 weeks. So we lost, what was it, like 80,000
80,000, yeah,
in 2 weeks, and it was like
no,
60,000 from the previous week.
You got to say it right though. It's 80,000 logs, and that is a big difference, and because it's not a one-to-one
too. Yeah,
so it's not a one-to-one.
Arenas and what's it called?
Raids.
Yeah, and so I guess that's like 10-man raids too. So it's like 10-man, 25-man. So I mean, expect it to drop down to 325,000. Like I'm saying, 75 more.
You think it's going
to drop off?
We forgot to point that out, by the way. So every week on Tuesday, it usually updates, right? And this Tuesday, it didn't update. So Go is under the conspiracy theory that they're trying to hide the fact that they've lost even more people, and it's just
No, I wanted to say that they were going to try to like brush it off and be like, yo, maybe Blizzard put out this 120,000 bot thing so people would try to correlate that in their minds. It's like, oh, Ironforge Pro.
That's not crazy.
The population went down 120,000, which has no relation at all to this bot ban. Like, because none of these bots are having logs of anything.
I think
people like get mixed up and they're like, oh, that's why Ironforge Pro says 120,000 people stop playing.
I honestly, man, okay, this is just like a culmination of everything we've talked about. If you are a casual in a dad guild, when Trial of the Crusader comes out, it's going to be an absolute dream for you. And here's why. You're getting nerfs on Alduar. Alduar 10-man loot is going to end up in heroic ++s. You're going to get 2 new 5-mans that are going to pump out absolutely crazy loot. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to be, it might be slightly better than Nax, but still, like, your casual alt is going to be that much geared. Your Alduars are going to be easier, so you're going to be able to loot there, and you're going to have Trial of the Crusader normal and Trial of the Crusader heroic. So you're going to be able to do new content. You're going to be able to gear up so much faster. Because you've got so many different sources of we'll call it income, where with you the heroic plus, Alduar, and specifically Alduar nerfed, and then you still have the new raid. So if you're a casual and you're struggling and you want to see the end of Alduar, the best time to see it is actually going to be Trial of the Crusader, because you're going to be able to walk past the bosses. Hopefully not walk past, but you get the idea. Like, they're going to, we went over that list. If that list of nerfs ever goes live, it will be hard to argue that every boss is not a joke. Because every boss, like, you're like, that mechanic's hard. They're like, don't worry, we got rid of that one. And you're like, oh, remember the fire? It doesn't actually hurt you anymore. You can just stand in it. Like Memoron, just stand still. It'll be fine.
Too soon, man. We had so many people die to the fire last night, bro. Fire deaths. The mine, people dying to mines.
Okay, hold on. I want to read Mincy's. Okay, Mincy starts out with "Hear me out," so this has got to be good.
Let's hear him out.
So maybe out of left field, DK bots were banned because they want to do some Psalm 2 in Wrath, so they're adding restrictions and potentially learning from their mistakes with allowing bots running wild. I think it's great that Blizzard is just now getting to bots in order to support Psalm 2, a concept that is barely played at all by our community. Like, let's make all these fixes for Psalm 2. You know, that concept that didn't really pan out as well as we thought it would. Let's put more time and effort into that. I hope that's true, though.
I do, too. I'm ready for a Psalm 2. If they did a Psalm 2 for Wrath, I'd play it. Psalm 2 anything, dude. TBC, I'm playing
it. So Table seems to agree with you because he says, hey, yeah, but the people who are dumb enough to be placated by the ban wave, which I think that's the way to look at it. I think they're being placated. Like, look, we're doing something, when are also dumb enough to not know the difference between the pop drop off and the Warcraft log drop off, right? Because again, Warcraft logs does not usually include bots. There's no botting in raids. This is just human people playing the game. So I think that's still pretty interesting that there's 450,000 people playing the game. Like even if half of them are alts, that's still with the bots. That's almost three quarters of a million likely, because there's probably 250,000 bots out there.
Well, I mean, like it's me with 3 tunes, and I'm doing what I'm doing 5, 6 lockouts.
But
so for me, I'm having six of those are one person.
Yeah, but they're not, because your name is associated in Warcraft logs, your character name. So your character only gets counted once. So even if like Classic Go does 10 and 25 man, it doesn't change. It's still just Classic Go, the player. Whereas you've got 3, and I'll give you that, or 4. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4. Yeah, depending on the week. If Blazing Bob hits me up and he's like, "Hey man, you want to do this raid?" I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, so with this chart, I gotta bring this chart back up, because honestly, like ever since you pointed this chart out to me, I've been. Let me make sure it's open. Okay, yeah.
I've been refreshing it, hoping that it.
I have been too.
One, it's like, so, please show the drop off.
I gotta say though, like the thing that I take so much from this. First of all, it's crazy. You can just like take a step back and look at Classic and look at TBC and then look at Wrath, and Wrath is just so much fatter than either of them, which is in my mind is nuts, because Wrath. I want to know what Kata is going to look like. Like, is Kata just going to be like this little baby hump on the bottom on the other side of it? And are we going to relive the exact same like graph of the original? Because Wrath was the peak and it started dropping mid Wrath. So I'm curious of like, if we're just reliving the past, like it's going to be the exact same Wrath, and then ICC is going to peak it for a sec, and then it's just going to Starfall.
I'm not looking too forward to Kata. I would much prefer that Psalm 2.
Let me ask you, you've played Kata on the private servers. You said you didn't like it. Have you grown it? Have you played it much? And since then, has anything changed? Have you been like, okay, I like it now?
So I leveled up to 85, and then like I don't know if it's the thing with all the private servers, like if you're not like super sweaty and get to 85 and like you're doing all the heroics and everything, all the high-end content, the first day that it's possible to do, then you're just kind of like left behind, and then like you have to kind of like hope and pray that you can sit there and wait for 30 minutes in the random dungeon finder tool to get a group for heroic, hope it doesn't fall apart. So like I didn't want to like sit there and struggle through all that, so I got to 85, I did all that, and I try to like, use the new talents, abilities, and everything, and it didn't seem too interesting as a balanced druid.
I gotta tell you, on private servers, I get a little intimidated, because there's 2 types of people on private servers: people that want to have fun, and then complete assholes. And there's like there's no middle ground there. Like if you join a 5-man, everyone's either like just the worst player ever, like they're just like running in random directions and like, what's this? And you're like, stop clicking stuff, you're dying. And then there's the other guy who's like the total Chad. He's like, follow me if you want to live. And he's like, didn't. What are you guys doing? You suck. Oh my God, learn to play your character. And you're like, can we just have fun? Like, can we just for 1 second, like do the mechanic? At least that's why, to be fair, when we were leveling together, I was having fun with the whole PvP aspect of it. Like when people were trying to kill us and stuff, and like we were fighting for those like nodes, I actually enjoyed that a lot. So I don't know. But yeah, I love being Mincy's that guy. Mincy was the guy in the group who was like, come on, click your buttons. Are you a keyboard turner? Get in the game.
Dude, so one thing with like somebody being just like I don't even know what word to describe this guy. So I was doing a dungeon, I forget which one, and it was like the RDF. So like we grouped randomly, we get teleported to the dungeon, we're going through. When loot drops, you have like the need or greed option, or like DE. And since I was a balanced druid, I couldn't need on cloth gear if it had like intellect and stuff. So like it's the same with other specs and everything. So like something dropped for like a hunter and they wanted it, but they couldn't roll need, so like they lost the greed roll. Well, I don't know what's going on. I win the greed roll, and they whisper, like they just open trade. No, they just open trade, and I think they whispered me and they were like, give me the belt. And I just closed the trade window and I kept going. I was like, what? Like what? And they
It's
typed in
mine,
chat.
bro.
They typed in chat. They're like, Druid won't give me the belt. Kick. And I was like, yo, am I about to for real get kicked out of this group because this dude like had a short ass fuse? And I was like, yeah, dude, bro, you're not getting this belt. Kick me if you guys want to, dude. Like, I don't care. Like, but it was
Yeah.
just like, dude, this dude was so toxic, man. I was
I
like,
know,
yo,
and there's a lot of private server toxicity, I will tell you. And there, not to say that like private servers are toxic, because they're actually a lot of fun. Like I was saying, like Go and I were leveling together, having an absolute blast, playing with other people, playing against other people playing PvP. So we did have fun, but yeah, like private servers tend to bring out just some of the worst people, and you always find them. You always find them.
yeah.
Speaking of alternative gameplay, I think that's a good segue. Let's talk hardcore. So first of all, there's two things hardcore. And I want to talk about the first one first because I think it's a little bit more interesting. In the 10.1 code base, I don't know what to call it. Yeah, no, it wasn't even patch notes. In the 10.1 metadata, they found references to hardcore. Specifically to turning it on and turning it off. Now, this is not in classic WoW. This is in retail. However, if you guys don't know, classic tends to sit on the same or maybe a little bit outdated version of retail with a different game on top of it. So any changes they make in 10.1 might trickle down to classic WoW. So hardcore, if you don't know, is the concept of if you die, you delete your character. And for a long time, it's been self-organized, and you need an add-on to support it. And it's a lot of like trust, and you have to manually delete. There's a lot of like, you can like, honestly, like if you want to cheat at hardcore, you can turn off hardcore, do stuff and turn it back on. And like, yeah, if you're doing some of the other stuff, there's like a lot of ways to check that. Like if you're doing like the all-stars and stuff like that, they don't allow you to ever play a character without it running. But the point is, it's kind of like community driven. Whereas if Blizzard actually does introduce hardcore into the game, I think it would be a huge thing, not just for retail, but I think definitely for classic, in both original classic and Wrath. I do not think it'll ever be relevant for TBC, in case you're wondering. No, nobody cares about TBC anymore. It's over, and they've forgotten about it. But I actually, I went to TBC to farm some mounts, and there were people there. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, but yeah. So I think Mincy. That's the thing. Anybody that I know that has tried hardcore absolutely loves it. And I was like, I was like the I don't know. But once I did it, I was like, this is I got griefed, and it really ruined my hardcore experience.
In the tournament.
Yeah, in the tournament I got griefed, but other than that, like it is fun to be like way more invested in a character that you have to accept immediately to divest from when it dies. You're like, oh, he's gonna be a leather worker, and I'm gonna get. Oh, he just died. Never mind. I have to like rethink everything. We got to get back to our warrior druid combo. Ooh.
So I've got a duo, not only with you, Grif, but I have a duo tune with Mincy as well. And Mincy and my druid are level 13 on the Wrath. Your
classic.
tune and mine are on classic era.
Yeah.
And I forget what level they even are. But yeah, dude, like I'm down to burn off, even if it's just to hop on for 30, 45 minutes, burn off the level and a half of rested XP. Like, let's get it.
So here's something else that's going to tie into Wrath. So like we're losing players, right? Like it's regardless of what is causing it, there's clearly a dip in players. But what is surging lately are the hardcore servers. Like I think Guzu said that there were 3,000 people on a hardcore server last week. 3,000 people. That doesn't sound like much. That is a lot of people playing hardcore. And the fact that Blizzard might finally be tapping into this is actually, I think, really a good idea to like sustain, especially on classic. I don't know why they're pushing it on retail, to be honest with you, but maybe it's more of an appealing because it's a new feature and they're like, well, let's do retail first and then we'll introduce
client based.
Maybe.
So because it's using the 10 point whatever client for Wrath.
Yeah.
And they just found it on that. I don't know.
I just think hardcore is such a good idea. I hope that the guys that have been like, Kargaz and all those people that have been cheering for it and supporting it, they get their day in the spotlight. Like Blizzard goes, look, these 5, 10, however many people made this happen. Please thank them. We'll give them a statue in their name, and then when they become some sort of canceled culture people, we'll remove them then. But in the meantime, Kargaz like for life.
The NPCs on the hardcore servers that tell you like, hey, would you like to be a hardcore character? It's named Cargos or something.
No. Every time when you die, instead of being taken to a spirit, a spirit person, it's just their NPCs being like, bro, you died. Go ahead and just delete it. What are you doing?
Go again.
Yeah. I would say because of the client, no one in retail gives a crap about hardcore. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what is this doing on 10.1? This needs to be on like whatever classic is on, which is like I think 9 or 8. But I don't know. Maybe they've updated it. I don't keep track of like what client they run anything on anymore. It's too hard to keep track because they don't use the client numbers for the classic. If you guys know what I'm talking about, we still call it 3.5 or 3.4, even though it's on like 9.6 or something like that. So it's hard to keep track. It's the what's the PTR? What's the PTR?
Like the retail PTR. So it would still be the same client, I guess.
I wonder. Blizzard never know what. Honestly, and the Pandrama, we talked about this earlier. Comparing private servers to Blizzard. Blizzard is a billion dollar company. Is that fair? $100 million company at the least. They have the worst communication. And then you go to these private servers where everyone's doing everything for free. And they're like, hey, how can I help you today? What can we do? Let's get rid of them bots. And we're like, where's the communication? Like Blizzard. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, they never responded to that bug for Ferals.
They're only $61 billion company.
Oh, okay. $61 billion. They can't take, if they take 1% of 60 billion, that's still 600 million. Is that right?
That's as of yesterday, so it could have changed. They could be below the billion. They could
There's a database that's attached to it. Add-on devs. I had to take it. So was it? If it was part of the database, that's interesting because then if it's not part of the client, then it could be moved to a different PTR because the database isn't the same thing as the client code. Yeah. Pandrama. I've had tickets open for like a month now. Not a word, not a peep. But anyway, I digress. Hardcore. There's a leak saying it's coming out. I'm very excited. I cannot wait for Blizzard to announce something because here's the thing. If they announce it today, it's not coming out tomorrow. It's coming out in like August. And that sucks because it needs to come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because why not?
So you got griefed in the last dungeon leveling tournament.
Oh yeah. So is there a new one coming up?
There's one this Saturday at 9 a.m. I think that's West Coast time. So 9, 10, 11. So yeah, I think it's noon Eastern where I'm at. And it's for RFC this time. They just put something
So it's Horde only then?
Yeah, RFC. Yeah, they put something out today. I was getting notifications while I was at work.
I did too. I got a notification. I didn't read it though. Saturday. That's all I saw.
Upcoming events. Yeah, there was like the nice
I don't think so either, Mincy.
Bullet point thing that hopefully I can find. Here we go. Race to Ragefire Chasm, Saturday, March 18th, 9 a.m. PDT, so Pacific time. You get 4 hours to level, and players must level solo, adhere to the hardcore rule set, and you have to be within level 10 to 12. So you get 4 hours to get to level 12.
It's much easier to do than the 14.
I feel like that's a lot more obtainable.
Especially for classes that don't have like this, like the immediate burst damage, like hunters and mages and things like that. I mean, I know paladins can do it, but like, yeah, that's good. 10 to 12 is definitely doable. So let me ask you, what's the reward?
The same one that they always have. It's like 500 cash.
Nice.
For the team.
Split, so 100 each.
One is 100 each. Yeah. I was thinking 4-man team. I was like, no, it's 125 because it's 4-man teams. Like what? But yeah, I guess
500 divided by 5. Hold on.
I thought it was
Carry
4. I
carry the
got 4
one.
hours, 4 team members. I'm sorry.
It's
No.
okay. It's okay. I will tell you. I until I got griefed, because if you guys don't know, I was very upset, but I got griefed doing this last time, and before I got griefed, I was having an absolute blast. Like there were people everywhere. I don't mind competing for nodes because we're all like kind of trying to achieve the same thing, and it kind of adds to like the there is like a pressure to like go, and I kind of like that. But when you literally just can't do anything, it's like such a bummer. Go sacrificing his cut. Yeah, Go's only gonna take
I'll take 75.
75. He doesn't care. As long as he gets to play. Dude, what class are you gonna? No, let me ask you. I know you're gonna play a druid, but we've talked about this. Boomy at low level is garbage. But
especially level 12 in RFC.
At level 12, Feral's not better. Like you don't even have swipe yet. You have growl, maul, and I think that's it. So like so warriors are gonna be better, paladins are gonna be better because they're already like they can wear a shield. So are you going resto?
Resto / Boomy, so maybe it'll be like a DPS / off heal.
You'll have 3 points in a talent tree. You're not going anything. Ooh. It's gear. It's just gonna be gear. So what do you put your gear into?
I'd have to look at it. I mean, it'd still be the same, balance or resto.
Your best plan is to get to 14 anyway, and get those 3 extra
only
points.
10 or 12.
No,
12 is the max.
It's the max is 12
to get into it. Maybe you could level up to like 13 in.
That's
the
what I'm thinking. Like I would
in the dungeon.
Oh, but you can't be above 12. Yeah, it's gonna suck for druids. Yeah. That's not a druid friendly one for sure. The best thing you could do is go resto.
Yeah.
Because you've got decent healing.
I think there's points in like Mark of the Wild you can put in. I haven't looked at the talents or anything.
To be a better buffer.
I know like Warlocks were OP.
Yeah.
In the first tournament, because they've already done an RFC, so people can like go back, look at all that, pull information from like what worked for the teams that cleared RFC.
William makes
a higher level.
William makes a really good point, like a really good point. Because druids in Classic don't have a regular res, and it doesn't matter because guess what happens if you die? You delete anyway, so you never have to. You don't have to bind that res. You don't even have to pick up that spell. Like you don't need. You don't have revive then, but like
no rebirth.
You don't need rebirth. Nothing.
Whenever that comes in.
Yeah, I don't think it's till later. But yeah, I think resto is your play. Like don't level resto.
Hey.
So and honestly, the only difference between resto and balance is how you spend those 3 points. And honestly, you can spend points in something that benefits both. Yeah. Or it doesn't matter. It's 3 points. Do whatever you want.
Like 0.3 seconds off of a wrath cast when I'm going to be going anyways. Like,
yeah, might as well.
I'm not going to spend it better. Yeah.
I would just put it in like Mark of the Wild. Boost your Mark of the Wild. Make it a little bit stronger.
The only tournament that I've done for hardcore was the same one that you did, where neither of us made the level cutoff requirement to even get chosen for like the dungeon draft. So I don't know like what the form looks like. You're supposed to fill out a form and submit it. So I don't know, are there questions on there like what would your preferred main spec be? And I would be like balance. What would your preferred off spec be? Like resto.
Yeah.
Like so. Yeah, if I get to there, I'll just be like, resto or like DPS / off heal, like whatever.
So there's so much too. RFC sucks for druids at low level in so many ways. For tanks, I was thinking like if you wanted a tank, because there's only 1 or 2 pulls that are 1 pull, so everything is a multi pull, and you just don't have it at that low level. Whereas like warriors at least have shield. I don't even know what spells they have either, but I think they get thunderclap really early. So they can at least build some AoE threat. I just don't think you can compete. So like it's got to be resto and balance. And balance is more of like a filler. Like when you're not doing anything, I'll cast a wrath. Yeah, that's too bad.
I'll throw a moonfire up. Yeah.
But yeah, so are you going to do that for sure this Saturday?
I'm thinking about it. Like I don't have anything like
set
in stone for Saturday.
I bet Table made it into somebody's video. I can't remember. I remember seeing it.
He was on Sarth's screen. Like
was it for hardcore?
Sarth was hosting the World Tour event, which was this previous weekend. And Table was participating in that. It's a 5-man group. They had to do 4 dungeons like back to back to back to back. and it was what like Wailing Caverns, Dead Mines,
Oh yeah, you can't go in the
EFD,
yeah, you can't
and
do the
something
two.
else. Yeah, so
You can't do
they had to do
stockades or
all 4
RFC.
dungeons. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember watching it for a minute. That's cool. If you guys don't know who Table Slam is, he might be in chat, but he's another feral druid. He's actually in Go's guild now, and he does put out YouTube videos and he streams a lot. Really good content creator. If you're looking for someone feral to follow, definitely
Streams
check him
more
out.
than Grif does.
Everyone streams more than Grif does. Griff's got a life. Griff's got to prioritize. Okay, so I'm looking at our list to make sure we've knocked everything out. So the only thing left that we need to talk about is prepping for phase 3. And we've got a lot of time, so we're not in a hurry. I wanted to get through the wrath thing, and I'm glad we did the thing. But now P3, we kind of touched on it. How are you preparing? Like, what are you doing? What are the steps you are taking as a boomy? Because I know what I'm doing.
The things I should be doing that I haven't yet is for Balanced Druid, our spec and rotation. I mean, I guess our rotation doesn't. Yeah, our spec and rotation like change. It flips in phase 3. So right now, with our 4-piece tier 8 bonus, we want to have Insect Swarm up like maximum. You let that last tick of Insect Swarm go off, it drops off, and as soon as it drops off, you reapply Insect Swarm. And then Moonfire, you only use while moving. At least that's my playstyle. So
Currently.
I made a video on like Wildhead suggested rotation, and they suggest you keep up Insect Swarm and Moonfire, and you have glyphs to support both of the dots. It was like a 10 DPS increase for me, so I was like, nah, like I'm just gonna keep my Moonfire to where if I move, I can have that Moonfire GCD to have like damage instead of like Moonfire's already up and I'm just getting, the Moonfire cast like damage and then re-snapshotting Moonfire. So I was like, yeah, like I'm not down with the whole Moonfire thing. So like for me, phase 2, it's Insect Swarm uptime full, Moonfire uptime only while moving. Phase 3, it's going to switch. Moonfire uptime is going to be full, Insect Swarm only while moving.
And is that because of the tier set or because of?
It's a mix between the tier set, like the new tier 9 set, and the new idol. So we're finally getting rid of our phase 1 Starfire idol, and we're going to get an idol for Moonfire. And Moonfire Dot has a chance to give us like crit rating. It's like a 70% proc chance to give us 4.35% crit for 12 seconds. So we're going to want to keep our Moonfire up. We're not going to have Insect Swarm proccing a free Starfire cast anymore. So like Insect Swarm's buffs are completely gone. Like phase 1, we had 30% chance or 30% more damage with Insect Swarm with a set bonus from tier 7. That's already gone. So yeah, Insect Swarm's going to fall off. Moonfire's going to be king because the 2 set tier 9, the Moonfire dots can crit, and I think that's kind of like what ferals get in tier 9, like with a bleed. A bleed can now crit or something.
So no, we get something like that in tier 10. In tier 9, our rake is extended, which is currently a very short. It's our very short bleed. It's extended by an extra 3 seconds, essentially one more tick, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's one more tick, which is great. It also that's the 2 set. The 4 set is increase the critical strike chance of Rip and Ferocious Bite. Rip is our big bleed, which can already crit, and the Ferocious Bite, which is our single one. Now, I think Ferocious Bite. Okay, let me back up. In phase 3, feral druids will likely be going 4-piece because of the increase in critical strike chance of Rip and Ferocious Bite is enough to generate it. Now, this is interesting because it's increasing both Rip and Ferocious Bite, and usually Ferocious Bite isn't used by the Bear Weavers, and it's more heavily used by the Flower Shifters or the Gift Weavers or whatever. Regardless, with our crit being higher, you're getting more opportunities to Ferocious Bite. With an increase of 5% on both, it's going to be interesting to see if the Gift Weavers start to catch up, because if you guys don't know, bear weaving is like 200 DPS better in general than gift weaving. I mean, but they're both really good. Like if you don't do either, it's about, I would say it's about 500 DPS loss to not bear weave and about 300 DPS loss to not gift weave. So like doing one or the other, they're huge. They're a huge benefit. Now, so you can choose which one. However, I think because of the gear changes of crit getting higher, ferocious bite getting bigger because of the attack power, and it benefits from the armor pen cap. So you're going to have crit cap, armor pen cap, hit cap, and rip. Yes, rip is still going to pump. Ferocious bite's going to hit even harder, and it might make those gift weavers catch up to the bear weavers. And if you don't know, gift weaving is much easier than bear weaving to sustain. I mean, they're both pretty easy, but to sustain for like 6-minute fights like Vezax, it's a workout. I mean, for the most part, Vezax, you have to like chill. I mean, I'm so sick of that, man. I hate chilling out. But what are you gonna do? I just clicked you away.
Oh no.
There you go, I got you back. I found you. Sorry guys, sorry. Stop it. That was pretty good though. That was pretty good. Remember that, like our first couple streams, every time we would just like freeze every once in a while. We've really matured, and as you mature, I mature. The relationship matures with us. But yeah, so for P3, so you're are you working on the rotation, or is that more of just a thing that's going to happen?
So the thing that I should prep for, because maybe these are going to go up in price on the auction house, is I should go ahead and get my glyphs that I'm going to be using in phase 3. And
I mean, they're not going to go up that high.
Buy them when they're 2-3 gold instead of 20 gold, 25 gold, whatever.
Yeah. You know, that actually reminds me, if you guys don't know, we talked earlier about Table Slam doing the Kologarn fight. He switches his glyphs out. And I noticed Bearbis also, they stack glyphs, and they bring stacks of glyphs with them wherever they go, so they can quickly swap glyphs. I've never done that. I've been like, nah, that's not. But like because the glyphs are so cheap, you can buy stacks of them, and it only costs you maybe 20 gold. And especially for gift weavers that are spending probably that just in consumes on gift, might be a good idea to grab those just for certain fights, to like boost your berserk, your mangle, things like that. I personally have found it easier just to swap the glyph of oh man, I can't remember what glyph it was, but I put a glyph in my bear spec for berserk, so it has mangle and berserk already, and essentially I just go bear spec for Kologarn, and it already has the glyph set up for me, and I can just, because like Kologarn doesn't have a big effect on the rest of your talent tree, because you can only do mangle and swipe really, and because a bear you glyph into, or sorry, you talent into mangle, it lowers the price anyway. So bear spec is actually a really good cheese strat for Kologarn, though I can't say I've parsed on it because I can't get that spot to save my life. I swear to God, it's just like a 16 all over again. I can't find it. I know the spot's somewhere around there, and I've like looked for it, but I feel like I'm right there, but then when I try it, I don't get the reaction I expect when I, you know.
So what Table said that he did for Kologarn was, he said he whispered in Kologarn's ear. He said,
"Yeah,
where's the spot?"
Yeah, and Kologarn
Kologarn was like,
hand.
not there. There it is. There it is.
He took his right hand, which is his left hand, and put it right where it needed to go.
Yeah.
So, oh my God.
Showed him right where to touch.
And anyway, but yeah, like, so as far as P3 though, for us, we are changing nothing. Like rotation wise, we're not changing anything, but gear wise, it's interesting because I kind of mentioned this already. If you don't have Mjolnir, guys, if you're at home and you're a feral and you don't have Mjolnir, get it, argue it, and if you use RC Loot Council in the little note spot, you type in there BIS through phase 4. Through phase 3, not phase 4.
Oh, it's like,
it gets
through phase 4.
No,
Dang.
I don't think it survives. I don't think it survives phase 4. I'm trying to think what you replace it with. I think, man, I know the only other ARP trinket I can think of is actually from like Pits of Sauron, the 5-man that comes out in ICC, and I don't think that's even close to Mjolnir, but I don't remember. Anyway, Mjolnir, Bran, if you have Bran's Signet Ring, that's going to hold up because you need an ARP ring, and you're going to be over hit cap if you try to go for the 2 hit rings that are considered BIS. So you're going to be wearing Brand Signet. Grab that. Grab Mjolnir. If you don't have it yet, try to get the cinch, the belt. I can't think of the full name. It's like something cinch. I have it on my other screen here. Hold on. Soul Devouring Cinch. It's because it's just really well statted. It's not Biss, but it's so close to Biss that if you can get it, you're just not going to replace it unless you absolutely really need the hit, because the only upgrade is Belt of the Pitiless Killer or Belt of the Merciless Killer. It's the same piece. But it has just a ton of hit on it that's going to put you over hit cap, whereas Soul Devouring Cinch is still going to give you those 2 slots. So those 3 pieces so far, I've been kind of like looking through them. Those are the big ones you absolutely want to get your hands on in phase 2, because they're going to be relevant in phase 3. Yeah. Everything else pretty much gets replaced. Even Dream Minder gets replaced, which, I still haven't gotten yet. So rub it in.
So
Thank you, Nancy.
After raid last night, to de-stress and calm down, I got on the sim again, and I simmed a little comparison last night, and I got some pretty conclusive results, I think. And I wonder if you've heard anything about ferals for switching professions for phase 3. So for balanced druids, it's always been like a toss-up, like tailoring or jewel crafting. You know, which one's better to go with engineering, of course. And I simmed 30-second increments from 90 seconds to like 5 minutes. And tailoring came out on top for every single increment. So, and it was only like 44 DPS, I think, that tailoring came out on top. So like not huge, but Boomies should be going engineering tailoring for phase 3. Like if you're min-maxing. So I don't even know what Feral's professions are right now.
So,
but like, do those change in phase 3?
So okay, first of all, Mincy, solar bindings, yes, they are solid. Most ferals don't wear them currently because they use the fluxing ones for the armor pen cap. However, solar binding is technically in a bubble better. Now, at the end of phase 3, there is an upgrade, but solar bindings are pretty close, especially because I don't think you need armor pen on your wrists anymore. You don't. So if you want, you can wear the solar bindings, which is only a probably 30 DPS loss at the most. Solar bindings. Sorry. Secondly, talking about simming and professions. You made a video about this today, right? Because I could have swore I saw like a thing that showed the 2 things. Okay.
Since we didn't go over the videos we've done the past week,
I skipped it.
We didn't get to talk about mine. I had to find a way to I had to video weave in there, and get my.
All right. Okay. First of all, you're not a feral. That's our word. You're not allowed to use it. Okay? It's our word. That's our word. Anyway, go ahead and tell me about your video, because I actually didn't get the chance to watch it, so I'm interested.
Oh no, that was pretty much it. So like I simmed the difference of the phase 3 best in slot set that I came up with, and it was like we had talked about earlier, I think maybe just in DMs, like, it was like my first look. Like maybe there's like 2 pieces that can switch and give another 5 DPS. But like I took my set that I had put together and I simmed it at all these different increments. I even added focus magic onto it to see, like how much benefit focus magic was giving balanced druids. That was a big thing in like phase 1, like who gets focus magic, who benefits more from focus magic. So like I did all these sims. Tailoring was the clear winner if you're searching for like the profession to min-max. So engineering, tailoring, and then focus magic gave about 192 DPS.
We're talking about specifically phase 3, right?
Specifically phase 3, best in slot. Like,
now,
end of phase 3.
There's a reason why it's open for discussion, and if you guys don't know, this is a good time to tell you. Phase 3 comes with epic gems. So jewel crafting that had a jewel crafting and blacksmithing, which have a lot of value, their values get changed because jewel crafting, those 3 extra jewel crafts you get, don't have as much weight as they did before, because now epic gems aren't as big of a drop off from the What's low epic?
Rare.
Rare, yeah, the blue. I'm gonna call it the blue. So
The blue.
so
Yeah,
because
the
of
blue
that, jewel crafting. Don't get me wrong. Is for ferals. I'm gonna speak for ferals now. Jewel crafting is still considered number one with engineering. So jewel crafting, engineering. Now, sort of. The other one that people have talked about, which I have not went down that road, and I wouldn't say probably, I will not go, is blacksmithing. Because blacksmithing, first of all, it's stupid for a leather worker or leather wearer to go blacksmithing because you can't use anything. But what blacksmithing does is it gives you 2 extra gem slots. And because we're going into epic, that actually overshadows jewel crafting with those 3 gems, with 2 epic gems over everything else, making it slightly better than jewel crafting. Apparently, this is just not theory crafting. This is just like stat wise, like they did the math. It just turns out to be better. But no one's gonna do that. The alternative, or the one I rock, is enchanting right now. Now, enchanting only gives you 80 attack power increase, which is slightly less than you get from jewel crafting and slightly even more or less from blacksmithing. However, it allows you to DE things. And first of all, currently enchanting is much lower right now, but when epic gems hit, we move up because we keep the 80 attack power and we get the epic gems. But again, that's the end of phase 3, like you said. So what's the best? Technically, I think it's blacksmith and jewel crafting, but the other thing you mentioned is tailoring, which ferals also can benefit from. However, it's proc based, so the sims would have to be trusted. Now, the reason I don't trust the sims currently at this point is because of the sim I did earlier today, which is berserking versus shnikes. The other one,
Jinkies.
oh my god, I can't believe I blanked.
Like Zoink Scoob.
Massacre. So there's two weapon enchants that people can use for ferals. So you can either use berserking, a very expensive, they're both very expensive, but this one's even more expensive enchant that has a chance on proc of giving you, hold on, let me look it up so I'm not wrong, because I'm already like kind of guessing my way through this. Okay, it has a chance to give you 400 attack power, but it procs pretty frequently. The alternative is Massacre that gives you a static 110 attack power. So would you rather have 400 proc or 110? Well, here's the weird thing. If you sim it in phase 2, berserking is better. But in my phase 3 gear, Massacre is slightly better. Now, I talked to people in my chat because I didn't know who else. I was just chatting in the DPS Discord. And they were like, Bearbis specifically said, I think it's a bug in the sim. And I don't understand it because he said change your trinkets. So I swapped my trinkets and then berserking was better again. So like why would that? And my
weird code.
As far as phase 3, everything has a big asterisk because of that mentality. I don't know what causes that to be wrong. So if tailoring is showing better for you in phase 3, you might want to grain of salt it until PTR comes out. And everyone should know this. If the game isn't currently out, they can't verify like anything really. I mean, because even like especially the tier sets, they can sim it, they can guess, but the proc rate might be wrong, the internal cooldown might be wrong, so they don't 100% know. And that's the same thing with trinkets. If you change your trinkets, the proc rate for P2 trinkets is accurate because they take them and they test them, whereas like trinkets that aren't available yet, they don't know, so they do a best guess or maybe private server. So big grain of salt. Do I think Massacre is gonna be better than berserking? I don't know, but it's a lot cheaper. So but yeah,
to add to the grain of salt, Blizzard could buff the eye level of TOC gear.
They won't.
If it buffs, even if it's 6 eye levels, that could make a little bit of a difference. Trinkets are gonna get buffed. Hey,
it would break ICC. It would break ICC. Nobody cares about Trial of the Crusader. Like, that sounds negative. No one cares if Trial of the Crusader is hard or misscaled to Ulduar. People will flip out if ICC is too easy because we're over geared because they boosted TOGC gear. People will freak out. Go ahead.
I've got a segue. Sorry. So since we also skipped over my poll that I did.
Sorry. I've been busy.
I asked 5 days ago how your eye level's looking. The
Yeah.
top,
Oh,
the
I saw
top,
that.
yeah, the top one was 226 to 230 with 39%, but there was also 30% said that they're already at 231 plus eye level.
Oh my god.
So
Do you know there's a classic Go with no H on YouTube?
no.
Yep. I accidentally just found him. We're good friends now.
Did you subscribe to
I should.
him?
Well, I'm
So
trying to
like
get to your page. Sorry.
if people are already this high eye level, like going into TOC, it's not that much more higher eye level. How long is TOC gonna last? Like we still got a couple months probably in Olduar. So are we looking at like 5 months at like hardly getting an eye level boost? That's gonna
What
feel really bad.
have we determined what the maximum eye level you can achieve in Oldor is? Like if you have everything, not like your best in slot, but what is the absolute highest you could get if you had every single max level piece for like Leviathan?
It's probably like 250 at least. Like,
Do you think so?
Because there's 252 for almost every slot. I want to say
I don't think are there 252 trinkets? I don't know what
there's
the
252. Yeah, I mean, for boomies, it's Flare of the Heavens, and then we could get another 252 trinket. Show of Faith. It's got spell power and a chance you'll gain mana per 5, but I mean, it would still give 252 eye level. Everything, probably 252 for real. Everything's got a 252 slot. Pretty sure.
So I might have to figure that out. I want to answer the YouTubers question. The Fairy File not working, a big deal. It's not a huge deal, YouTube, and the reason I wanted to address it is just to point out, to draw attention to the fact that ferals in general do not have a working rotation. And in order to even achieve a decent DPS, they have to either go bear form or gift weave, neither of which are a structure that is solid for an average player. And by giving Fairy Fire the chance to proc Omen of Clarity, it allows casual players to play ferals, as we are the least played class, I think, of all classes. It's not to boost DPS, though I would love it if they implemented something that boosted. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like if they made it so everything that ferals do has the chance to proc Omen of Clarity, I'd be happy. Everyone would be happy, and we wouldn't be bear weaving anymore. Are they going to do that? I don't think so. But a lot of casuals come to me and they say, listen, I can't do bear weaving, and gift weaving, I get yelled at from my raid because I'm lowering the crit chance or whatever. And by giving Fairy Fire the proc chance, it will allow those casual players to still do a decent rotation, but then do something in the meantime while they're waiting for their energy to regen. Yeah, it's super low. But the thing is, it's 1% on white damage too, and we still get 8 procs per second or 8 procs per minute. That feels high, but you get the idea. Like, yeah, it may not be a crazy amount, but it'll give us the chance. And they could make Fairy Fire a higher proc chance, just like they make Wrath a higher proc chance for ferals, and Gift of the Wild a higher proc chance because it hits so many people. Like if you do resto weaving, when you cast a healing spell on a person, because you're a feral, the chance to proc Omen of Clarity is much higher on that spell. So if they did the same thing with Feral Fairy Fire, yes, 1% is the general consensus for physical damage spells. It's not necessarily the static number for a Fairy Fire proc.
And it's also the Wrath weaving too, right? Because Wrath gave Omen proc. Like
that's the only reason Wrath weaving is even, it's not in the running compared to gift weaving and bear weaving, but the only reason it's even come up as a possible option is because instant cast spells from ferals have a higher Omen of Clarity proc, and when you use feral, what's it called? Not feral aggression, feral swiftness. Yeah, when you use feral swiftness to do an instant wrath out of form, the proc chance is around 60 to 70%. If they made that Fairy Fire 60 to 70% proc, yeah, I would use the GCD to do that while you're waiting for, because that's legit. And that small change, I don't think we'll be able to compete with bear weaving regardless, because bear weaving is really decent DPS, but it will allow casual players to play the feral class more effectively. Make power reduce threat. Yeah, table oh man, table. Everyone's got their ideas. No, I agree. I think
Here we go.
No, because table's right. Like, it's the dumbest thing that we have a static threat drop instead of a percentage threat drop, like every single thing else is. Like, they just forgot. They're like, oh yeah, ferals have a threat reduction. Completely forgot. We should probably fix that. Nah, we'll do it next week. And never got it. It doesn't. You're being sarcastic, Rasa. I didn't pick it up immediately. I apologize. But
it gives huge threat reduction.
No,
bro.
you're wrong, Rasta. And then I'm like, oh right, he's probably kidding. Okay. But yeah, so that's the reason why. Mainly because I want Blizzard to address it. I want Blizzard to look at it, discuss it, and I want to hear what Blizzard has to say. Like, hey, we know ferals are broken. We don't care. Like, I'm fine with that. But at least they haven't said anything. They haven't. Nothing. And it's been months that we've complained about this. And I think the feral fairy fire, nobody would be mad about. I think ferals would be grateful on hard fights where it's hard, you're moving around a lot. It's a lot easier just to spam feral fairy fire instead of trying to bear weave. And I don't think any other class would be like, oh, that's not fair. I don't think they'd care. I don't think anyone would care.
So have you looked at the Wildhead DPS rankings for the previous week? I don't know what week it's titled.
No, do you want to look at them really
week
quick?
8. Yeah, so like feral, I think, has been just above the PvP specs for which was the title, overall damage.
Just above the PvP specs.
Yeah, so like there's what 4 or 5 PvP specs. 4, I think.
Well, I gotta find it.
But this week, there's 2 hunter specs now below feral instead of only 1. So I think feral moved up at 1 spot, but they're still below the ret pally.
Let me put it on the screen, dude. Listen. I get a lot. I get comments. Oh man, sorry, go. I just made you disappear. I get comments every day saying, "Why do you hate ret?" And I don't. I do not hate ret. I don't hate the nerf, or I don't hate the buffs that ret got. What I hate is that ret got attention and ferals didn't. It's more of like, I'm jealous that ret got some love and ferals got the shaft. And I don't need
still above on bosses.
Okay, so let's look at this is
kind of
boss damage. This is just damage. So this
is for 95th percentile.
So this is really good people. Ahead. We're slightly behind ret paladin. We're ahead of the 2 hunters. Okay, so let's look at the other one. This is for boss damage only. Mm-hmm. We fell behind balanced druid, even though that sucks. What are we gonna do? But we've honestly kept our same position. But again, I made a video, I think a couple days after we talked about this, and I actually went through and we came to the agreement that the only fight that really matters, is, do I have it open? The only fight that really matters is Razor Scale.
Oh yeah, like the patchwork.
Yeah. So let me go back, because I was actually looking at like, look at the DPS on these guys. This is, let me get out of this guy, because I was just like impressed and tried to stalk him and figure out how he's doing, the damage he's doing. I don't know how far back I have to go. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go to statistics.
It's cropped pretty hard.
Rankings. Yeah, sorry, I'll fix it in a sec.
Yeah, just
class. Thank you though.
Yeah.
Druid. Barrel. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick though.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Oh, really hard. Okay, hold on. In case you're wondering what I'm looking at, this is it. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about this. These guys, oh man. These guys, it says 7,284, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is for all of them. Sorry, I gotta pick, oh my god. I'm like, no, it says 11,000. This is for Razor Scale. Look at this, 11,267, 11,147, 10,000. I hit 9 something the other day on Razor Scale, and I was like, oh man, I don't even parse. These guys, I will point out, Mixubu, the number 1, is legit, if not best in slot, so close to best in slot. Let me pull it up. Summary tables. Oh, I gotta select them. Okay, there we go. Conquers. He's wearing the 2-piece tier 8, which is something you only do once you have enough like 252 and above gear that you can stop wearing the 4-piece. Seed of Budding Carnage, treacherous shoulder pads. Actually, these could be an upgrade. Like you could upgrade those. Embrace of the Gladiator, absolutely ridiculous. Like this guy, except for Mechanus bindings, I'd probably wear solar bindings instead, but who am I to judge this guy who's doing 11k DPS? Dreambinder, Drape of the Faceless General, Dark Matter. This guy has almost every single BIS piece doing 11k. He's gemmed Expertise in some places, so weird. But regardless, this is crazy gear. This is absolutely nuts gear. Yeah, I will never, if I can hit 11k on Razor Scale, I don't even care if I'm the bottom DPS, because if I'm the
40 eye level,
yeah, I think he's only got 2 or 3 pieces. This guy's name is Mixu. I don't know. You want to look at the full list? Because like he's not the only. I think he's one of the only ones at 11k, but he's not the only one. Here we go.
I mean, their full Razor Scale is during Lust almost.
Yeah.
Like 5 seconds.
The thing is, so if you look, like these guys, they've got 3 people in the 11k, and you have to kill Razor Scale like super fast in order to get these kind of numbers.
Yeah.
But like so this guy is
DK. Oh my gosh.
A Mangle Maul. This guy is a Mangle Maul. So he's not even lacerate swiping. He might be because the fight is so short. That's why he's not lacerating, because it's just not worth it to do that. But this guy's gear is like, I mean, Pendulum Infinity is considered BIS. Shoulder pads and Intruder is BIS. Embrace BIS. Second BIS. Like, and he's got Dark Edge instead of Dreambinder, which sims very close. So get this gear and you can do this. That's my tip. Is it's gear.
Can you go back to the damage really quick?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Hold off for a second for the delay, because there was a Ferocious Bite had 100% crit chance, and whatever was on the top had 85%.
Because he only did it twice, and his shreds were 8. This is crazy high. 85% crit. That's RNG. That's RNG.
That's RNG. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was part of like your all's crit cap.
No, our crit cap. Well, our crit soft cap is 71. Our hard cap is 100.
Though? For what spell? For what ability?
What do you mean?
Crit soft cap.
Soft cap is white damage.
White damage.
Yeah, melee damage.
Crit for the white damage, not a particular spell or cast.
I think this is right. White damage cap is 71%. Yellow damage, or like ability damage, like your bleeds, your shreds, your ferocious bites, those don't have a cap. Well, they have 100% is the cap. But nobody goes beyond 71 because you don't, because that's only your overall crit. You have to factor in your talents. Like spells like Shred have an increased crit chance. I think. I know Ferocious Bite does. But regardless, 2 Ferocious Bites got super lucky. Both of them crit. This is super lucky.
42.6k divided by 21.3k on average. Yeah, average cast. Yeah.
Has 25% extra crit on bleeding targets. Yeah, so Ferocious Bite at 75% is almost guaranteed to crit, or 72% is almost guaranteed to crit. Glancing Blows, is that what it is? Because the Glancing Blows 71%. But because white damage can be glanced, right? And yellow damage can't be. I'm almost positive that's what he's saying.
Did Raven have to cower to reduce the threat?
Let me see if they. Let's see if they cowered. No, if you have a good tank. No, there's no cower here. I wanted to make sure before I said, no, that's stupid. And then he's got like cower 4 times.
Yeah, 4 cowers. Oh my God. That'd be amazing.
No, but like, what's the fight length here? They
innervated though. They had to send Innervate.
Okay, so this is, hold on. I'm going to see what the fight length is.
GCD. Imagine they probably innervated their Arcade Mage or something.
207. So they did a 50 second Razor Scale. That's pretty fast. And you have Berserk up for a large portion of that.
Did he have to cat dash back in, or did he get a ball? A bop would be troll.
No, you don't. You never want to bop a feral. In fact, my guild. So I remember I told you I got moved to raid 1.
Yeah.
it's because the feral that was in raid 1, somebody bopped him thinking they were doing him a favor in Reacher scale.
No.
And because we don't have a auto bopper move like a lot of classes do, he had to manually remove his bop and it killed his parse. And he's got mad and I think he rage quit the next day.
Damn.
But
over razor scale. I mean, I would get mad over a parse if it was like Memron hard mode and I was 99 tracked.
No, like, you're not respecting Feral's best parsing fight for accuracy is razor scale.
Well,
so if you're comparing people,
a boomy that's getting the bop, so we're not getting knocked back, is huge. Like,
it is for a lot of classes.
It's amazing.
And the thing is, from what I understood, the guy thought he was doing him a favor. Like he was like, "Oh, I'll, this feral's pumping.
Yeah, he's not going to get knocked back."
Yeah, I watched. Actually, you want to hear something interesting? I'm kind of curious if Table has any feedback on this. Okay, I told you I was going through this one guy's logs like very carefully. Not this guy particularly, the other guy. Okay, I was going through Mixuwu. So on his razor scale fight, if you look at, this is so in the weeds, I don't even care, guys. This is what I do with my free time. So I went through every single spell he casts.
Nerd.
I mean, this is what you do, right? Okay, I went through every single spell he casts during this phase right here. This is the lust phase, so it's got to be. So he does rake into Savage Roar. So it looked like he was just doing the opener. If I went a little bit further, but there's a oh no, he went mangle next. So rake, Savage Roar, mangle, shred, Tiger's Fury, Berserk. This is pretty standard stuff. Shred. Okay, so here is where it gets interesting. Right here, feral cat charge, right? Here's what's interesting. At 229, 303, he did maul, which means he was in bear form. He then flew into the air and went cat. If you would have, I mean, this is like, how would he know? But if he would have stayed in bear for 1 second longer, he could have then bear charged, not using any energy required, gone into cat, had even more energy to then, but instead he had to use feral charge, which does cost 10 energy.
Does it do damage?
No.
Feral cat charge? What is it? Can you hover over it?
Yeah. I'll just tell you what it does. It leaves behind the enemy and dazens them for 3 seconds.
Yeah, not good at all.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. He didn't have the rage to it. I was just like, I was thinking was did he know this was coming, or was this just bad luck on his part that he was stuck in? He switched to cat at like the worst second, where if he had the energy or the rage for bear form, he would have been. I mean, he's number 1 DPS. I'm sure he's not mad about it. But I was just thinking that like, I wonder. And then he gets a ferocious bite, and then he gets another one here. Yeah.
Can you look at his omen procs?
Yeah. Maybe. Buffs.
This is just a non-feral wondering, what.
Okay, so let me look at it on a table point of view so we can see how many he got. Should be under clear casting. He got 13. I think I'm in the window though. 13
in 50 seconds.
Yeah, in that minute.
That's a lot higher than that 8 that you had talked about earlier. This
is good RNG. This happens.
That's a lot.
Like sometimes you just get bling 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 bling. That's why, and you can tell it happened because if you go back to his events and you look at his, let's go to his cast, and you look at his shreds, this cannot be done without at least 2 Omen of Clarity. I actually did the math, I think, at one point, and he wasn't generating enough. Even in Berserk, he wasn't generating enough in this short of time unless he got 2 Omen procs. So he got 2, it guaranteed at least 2 in this window.
Yeah,
maybe 3 or more. Like you can't. I think I narrowed it down to it's at minimum 2. But yeah, like 13 and 50 seconds. That's the dream. That's what you moments of clarity. His rage was after that maul. Oh my god. Table, you want me to look at his, oh my god. Resources. Don't even know how to do that with this. I'm not even gonna lie. On table, I mean timeline.
You go to resources, rage,
and then where's the drop down?
He's got 100 rage the whole time.
No, this is his health.
Oh yeah, you switch
hit
the
points.
HP
there
points
it is.
To
rage. Oh, I'd have to look at the timeline to see when it happens. Hold on. casts. I'm gonna switch back and figure out what the time is.
Okay,
Okay,
struggle
so
with the delay.
229.303 to 229.890. So 229.5 is roughly where he had to decide. Okay, so resources, rage, and at 229, he had just used enrage, so he was guaranteed that he was getting rage still because he used it at 227 and he used he could have charged.
He could have done it.
Listen, I've reached out to him in Discord to let him know what he did wrong.
Hey, you got 100, but
imagine
I'm gonna give you some advice.
my 92 parse versus your 100. Sir, excuse me. Let me tell you what you did wrong on Racer Scale really quick. If you don't mind. Yeah, I'm such a troll.
That's on number 1,
yeah.
but if you want to improve, here's how you can.
Yeah, but those are enraged ticks. I'm wrong anyway. Okay. Regardless, he had a rage tick at 229, which is right when he shifted, but he only got 1 rage.
So he was like, what does that mean? 1 rage.
He got 1 rage. He probably, because this guy failed miserably.
How do you get 1 rage?
Either capped or I don't know. That's a good question. Either way, 2. Yeah, look, he had rage. 2. I don't know if this is the right time. 243.
Rage.
I don't care. I don't know why we're looking at this. This is dumb because it doesn't matter. He got 100. The guy knows what he's doing. We're not reaching out to him. All right. We're not gonna tell him.
What guild was he in?
Yeah. Let's look at his. I'm gonna contact his raid leader and let him know that he's really dropping the ball.
Hey man, your Pharaoh messed up.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody told you, but
you might want to recruit a new Pharaoh.
His hold on, I gotta remember his DPS. His 11,353 could have been 11,355. I'm just saying, if that's
you guys lost DPS on this fight because your Pharaoh didn't know what he was doing.
Dude, he out DPS the rogue. Oh my god, I feel bad for the rogue.
Ellie Shaman on top,
dude. I know
me?
the rogue.
That's like, is that overall? Or, no, that's just the fight.
That's because the elemental is up the whole time. I mean, think about it. These shorter fights just benefit certain classes better.
I mean, nobody's talking about Ellie Shaman pumping.
Yeah.
What is that?
He probably was. He did 3 last hits in a row or whatever he was doing. So he was in bear form long enough that he was probably capped. You're right. And the charge was probably no big deal because he was capped. So again, guys, I was joking. I apologize I really wanted to know if that had crossed his mind back then. But regardless, like, these guys pump. But yeah, imagine being like a 11,153 and you're like 4th place. This sucks. Like, what? Dumb. Yeah, but elemental, man, they pump. Lightning bolt.
Jeez.
Just lightning bolt.
Insane.
It's because look at his elemental. That's like 5%, maybe more than 5%, maybe 10% of his damage was his elemental. Yeah, almost 100k and 600. So whatever. My math sucks, but you get the idea.
The gargoyle damage from DKs still being half of their damage.
Yeah, well, because the new cheese strats they have now, because now they can position them better. Yeah, remember they complained? They're like, "Oh, we got nerfed." Shut up.
Wait, did they even have a balanced druid? Don't scroll down. Never mind. I shouldn't ask.
They did.
Don't show it at the bottom of the meter.
8, 7. Oh my god. Like, the ret pally was way down here, but like this is the ret pally. This is the fire mage, and then this boomy. Let me see what he did. Wrath, Starfire, Treant, Insect Form, and 1 Starfall. Yeah, Wrath was number 1. Maybe he didn't get any crits, man. You don't know. He got a 29% crit.
Oh, like damage wise. Okay, not like casting order.
No.
Okay, I was like, he started with the
yeah, because look at his crit chance. That's so low. 29% crit. That sucks.
He missed 1 too.
Oh yeah, you're right. Resisted.
What?
Is that what it says? Resisted hit?
Say what?
No, he missed 1. You're right. Yeah, and he only had a 29% crit. That's so low. Yeah, that's like less than a 1 in 3 chance of getting a crit. But yeah, this was Interesting little deep dive, and I apologize for the hard turn we took at the end. But are you raiding tonight? You're raiding tonight at 10 man?
Yeah, we got like 45 minutes till the raid starts. So,
okay.
like another 15, 20 minutes to chill, hang out.
Cool.
Table's in the lineup for tonight, too. So the first 10 man with table.
Oh, are you streaming tonight?
Yeah.
I bet Table's streaming
Table's going too. Yeah.
Yeah, so, definitely check it out. If you guys are a Feral, watch Table. If you're a Boomy, watch Go. If you want to see somebody rage quit, you're better off on Go. Table's a little too chill for that.
If you want to see me like lose my SHI to the T tonight, if people are failing mechanics in the 10 man, it's going to be a show. I've had a couple drinks.
10 man
as you
fails
might have noticed
are somehow worse. 10 man fails are worse.
I'm going to be calling, if you want to hear somebody call everybody's mistake out the entire raid, what are you doing? Why are you standing in that void zone? Then...
So I was watching this YouTube channel that's like really popular, like 5 million subs or maybe 12 million. They're huge. And they were talking about swearing, and they said as long as you don't do it in the first 12 seconds of a video, YouTube doesn't care. And I was like, oh, I wish where are these rules at that everyone knows about but me?
I showed you last week's podcast on my channel got flagged for like advertisement, like I couldn't run ads on it or whatever because it was adult content or something. Like it didn't abide by the TOS for ads. And I was like, what? But then like I re-listened to the first like 10, 15 seconds, no swearing, but we were joking like, oh yeah, this is episode 18. This is like adults now or whatever I said.
You said the wrong words on the opener.
I don't know if that flagged it, and I was like, yo, like I submitted like a review and it got approved for ads after that, but it was like,
so our opening,
hey, man, they're not joking around with that stuff.
Our opening script can't be like, hey fuckers, let's go. Sorry for the swears, guys. I just wanted to
emphasize the point.
Just start every single podcast that way. Just see what happens.
Just put it in the opening script.
I came up with a song in the shower the other day, like it was like an old school 80s rap, like my name's Grif and his name's Go. Welcome to the Grif and Go show. Like it was pretty good.
Yo, I don't know if you or Table was watching during our XT, like before our XT attempt last night. I was like pretending like I was Eminem.
How?
I was doing some freestyle raps. I forget what the word. It was like I was trying to rap with the word totem.
Totem.
Yeah, totem.
I got nothing.
I'd have to go back and watch the VOD. I'm not gonna recreate that. There's no shot. It was a one-time thing. And maybe tonight I'll freestyle again.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I actually got asked to raid in the main 10 man for my guild tonight, but they start at 8 o'clock, and I was like, no, got a podcast, man. You know, do you not know how popular my podcast is?
Jeez,
I am practically almost kind of famous in the third-rate feral druid for Wrath content in the year 2023 only.
So I had posted in our guild Discord, and I was like, yo guys, I got a feral that's interested in joining. And the first thing people said was like, streamer ? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, is Rug still playing feral or is he a DK?
Oh my god.
And then it went from like Rugs to Grif ? And I was like,
it went Rugs, Table Slam, Scotty J switching classes. Where's Mincy?
He made his ult already.
Yeah. Like
oh man, I was like, oh.
You ever watch like baseball and they give you like the stats like, oh, he's 0 for 6 in outings in the 7th inning where there is a base runner but they are behind in the at a stadium that starts with the letter H but doesn't have roadside seating for women ages 40 and above.
Yeah,
that's how I feel I am as a druid. Like, I am the #1 feral druid from the Midwest that does content on YouTube and Twitch, but only covers Wrath content. Like, you know, like I'm like, but I'm there somewhere.
On days that I had poached eggs for breakfast with a side of buttered toast with cinnamon sprinkled on it, this guy's batting average is 100%.
Yeah. Every time I stand up, I don't know. I could do this all day. But yeah, it's so funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, honestly, my new guild is absolutely crazy good. Like, I'm so glad.
I'm envious.
I'm so glad I'm in the guild. I just hate that I'm not part of like the group. You know what I mean? Like I said like earlier,
the core 4.
Well, like no, but like, you know, everybody just like knows everything. The core 4, is that a reference I don't get?
It's a reference. Yeah. If anybody saw the movie Scream 6 over the weekend, they got the reference, and I see you.
Oh, you've been seen.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Can I make my own reference and be like, I'm not part of the high five? Is that a reference people get? Mine's more gamer related than Scream. Hot take. I don't like Jenna Ortega that much.
Same here.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't go to see it because of her.
I liked Wednesday. I like her in Wednesday. But like she's been doing like this is so unrelated to WoW. She's been doing like press tour for Scream, and I'm just like, nah, I don't like her energy. Like she seems like a downer, which is perfect for Wednesday because she's a downer on Wednesday. But like, yeah, she seems like a downer in real life. Just my opinion. Don't tell her, guys. Don't make it a big deal. Like, we're hanging out next week. I don't want to.
Yeah.
We're real.
We've got
close.
something lined up.
Yeah. So she's actually going to be on the pod. I don't want to make a big deal about it because she's actually a big balance druid, and this is supposed to be a surprise for Go.
Ooh.
That also covers recent cinema releases.
Okay.
I couldn't see that. I don't know. Like, what kind of people do you think play druids? People with like self-esteem issues. I feel like
there's an old clip from Soda Poppin', and you'd have to look it up. It's yeah. Just look up Soda Poppin', who plays druids Soda Poppin'. I'm sure it'll probably come up. But yeah, like I wouldn't play it on the stream. It's a little not TOS, but I mean it's got a word in it.
Hold on. I don't know if it'll come through.
Questionable word.
Fits your brother's personality best.
Put for myself.
I mean, like it makes sense that druids would also want to play hardcore. For
myself as druid, obviously not because I play druid or anything, or I'm the jack of all trades.
Ah, nice.
I put you as rogue.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would think.
So I've played with a lot of World of Warcraft, and I've met a lot of people, and I've noticed that in my experience,
you're talking
it's always
over it.
The same type of people playing the same class. So the people that play rogues are drug addict stoners.
Yeah, that's how it happened. I was gonna play rogue.
But what did you put for me? I didn't see.
Druid.
Rogue.
Druid rogue. Yeah. I mean, I can't see you as anything other than druid. Even thinking about it, like it's
okay.
Just
to be fair, all of the druids I've met, they're okay. So there was like a druid Skype call back in the day. 5 out of 7 of those druids were gay, and then the other 2 were just skinny white twinks, but they just weren't gay. And that was me and one other person.
That's hilarious.
And that's all the druids.
That's the class. That's funny. I don't know if you heard it. You'll have to hear it secondary. It is a little bit inappropriate, but at the same time, it's pretty funny. Like, I don't find that to be the case. I find that most druids are nice people. Like, you know how like we were talking about how like in private servers there's like the complete jerks and there's like the really nice people. They're like, I just want to play. Like, I feel like druids are in the middle. They're just like, yeah, hey, what's up? Like, I play a druid. Oh, cool. It's not like, dude, what do you think I play? I play a DK because it's the top DPS. What's your problem, bro? No druid says that ever. Like, no druid has that ever. Yeah.
Trying to think of anybody other than him that was a druid that like said stuff on Discord. Like resto druids,
I've never met one. What are they like?
I don't think they have a mic. Maybe like back to the bark, they don't have branches properly to hold their headset onto their head or something.
Like,
Yeah.
just like hanging from a branch so they can.
Guys, I don't have a good branch. I can't wear it.
Oh, I turned you down. I forgot. I turned you down. All right.
Ooh.
Don't worry. You were still slightly on. You were just quiet.
Can't hear go.
Sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. I also added a caption so people ferals are sweaty for the wrong reasons.
Ooh.
That's the you can take that any way you want.
Oh, I'm taking it. I can't even say it like that. Gosh.
You're so sweaty. I know. I haven't showered in days. Oh, that's not what I meant. Thanks for that.
Dude, last night I had my dark arc because I had
wait. Hold on, I have my soundbar. 1 second.
Was I close?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, last night I had my dark arc because my light was off and it was dark in the room, and everyone was like, "Oh, dude, it's dark go." So now it's my villain arc, I guess.
I just noticed that because I don't have the lights on, it's dark here and it's bright there for you.
Ah,
so hold on.
It's like yin and yang, dude.
Too bright. There, this is like the creepy guy. You can't see it yet. You will.
Go light switch. How cool would that have been? I mean, I guess maybe yours went, but I don't know if I was going the right way for camera wise. Oh, I did. Oh, I just saw the replay.
Hold on. I'm gonna press the roar chicken. I haven't pressed roar chicken in a while. Dude, you did it at the exact right time. Oh my god! If it looks good, somebody clip that, please, because that was awesome. Oh man, I love this podcast. I have so much fun.
I knew exactly what was going to go on. We scripted that, by the way. We scripted it 4 weeks ago.
I hope somebody clips that. I don't know how to clip a video. I tried clipping a video from yours once, and I was like, I give up.
YouTube is weird. You can make a clip, but then you can continue to watch the rest of the VOD, and it's like that's not really a clip. Like,
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what it's supposed to do. I gave up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it just starts you at a point in the video.
Oh yeah, clip.
And then it ends, but then it suggests, hey, do you want to continue watching?
Okay, so I have a voice modulator that I never use. I just turned it on. I'm curious. You can't hear it. It's only through OBS.
Oh, they can hear it.
I don't know if it is working though, because like I never play with it anymore. Now? Yeah, I just turned it back off.
Okay.
You want to listen to it and see if you hear it? I don't know.
What does it sound like?
I'm trying to think if there's. I feel like I got one more piece of loot, and I can't think what it was. Oh, I finally got. Okay, good. Yeah, I think I turned it off because it was like making me sound like an old woman, and it was trying to go for like an angry man, and it didn't work.
I did get a piece of loot, but go
ahead. What'd you get? No, what'd you get?
So Mincy and I have been capping 10 arena games each week just for the points, and I got. Well, first. Mincy and I broke the 1400 rating barrier so that we could buy our Furious Gladiator gloves.
Big
and I bought those for our PvP sessions. We've just been 2v2ing for fun. And we got to 1450 or something last week. So we still need to do 10 games this week. And maybe we'll get that 1500 this week.
What do you? I don't keep track of PvP. What do you like? What are the unlock levels? Like, what do you need?
It's crazy, man. Like, for the current gear set, like the Furious gear, it's 1400 for gloves, and I'm just gonna lie for the rest of it. It's like 1500 for chest. It's 1800 for helmet. 2200 for weapons. It's like almost unattainable for any sort of casual PvPer. Like, you have to be a hardcore PvPer, I feel like, to get the PvP loot that's worth anything outside of like a raid. So like, we're just chilling. Like we're not on there to get 1800 or 2K rating or nothing in twos, but you never know.
All right, let me see if I can turn this on so you can see this. One sec. Okay, so I forgot to tell you, I think I told you, but I don't think I showed anybody. I actually got a mount. So I'm putting it on the screen now. Oh, yeah, good luck, Sleepy. I got the Kara mount last week. I don't know if you can see.
But
Oh, really?
The first attempt this week did not go so well. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that sucks.
I did
ZG.
yeah, I did ZG.
You did it the same time as me.
Tiger, Raptor. Yeah, and I took way longer because I have to clear all the trash.
Yeah, I just run in, kill them, and leave.
Go up to the boss. Yeah, they're just like, yeah, dude, melee me. I don't care.
You know what I've noticed? But I've been running not Skolo, Strat Undead to get the other mount there, and
Yeah.
I can get all the way to the final boss without ever pulling or ever going stealth or pulling. Hold on, let me put the chat on there. Or without pulling any ads. Like I just like that's how over leveled we are at this point. Like I can just zoom through, kill the 3 bosses. Do you still have to kill the 3 bosses?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In order for the gate to open up to get to the last undead area. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. So yeah, it takes me like 3 minutes to do the whole thing.
I've been trying to like get faster at that. I went back the other day and
well, you could do the same thing because like you just go, you just run.
Mm-hmm.
I do Swift and boots to just get there because you got to kill all. You still have to kill all the, like the patchworks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the constructs.
Yeah, that part's easy.
I started doing the Kalawak dailies to get. Oh my god, what a waste of fun. So I like that all 3 of the. If you don't know, all 3 of the dailies are spread out. Like there's one in Borean Tundra, one in Dragonblight, and then another one in Howling Fjord. It sucks that you have to go like all the way through 3, but yeah.
All right, so I had soloed a bunch of stuff in this previous week that I haven't soloed before. And I'm going to drop a challenge gauntlet for you to complete by next week.
All right, what are they?
So this isn't the challenge yet, but this is just what I soloed. So I went back. There's a couple of heroic dungeons in TBC I didn't have the achievement for. So I did Blood Furnace on heroic as a boomy, cleared it all, got the achievement. And I did Mana Tombs, cleared all that, got the achievement. And then what else did I soloed Utgard Keep or not heroic. Utgard Keep normal, soloed all of that. I'm pretty sure fails can do that like no problem. And I also did Old Kingdom in under an hour. Like first try, went in there, full clear Old Kingdom on normal. The last thing that I did was I went back into Karazhan and I did my midnight farm, killed midnight, and I was like, well, while I'm here, I've heard a bunch of these other classes can kill Morose. I want to see what Morose is like. Can I solo it? It took 8 or 9 attempts, and I soloed Morose as a boomy.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, cool, sick. I did it. Let me keep going through Karazhan. I soloed Maiden, and I also soloed the opera event. It was Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay.
So then I kept going, got to Curator. Curator was a hard stop. I tried, I went out, I got PvP gear, I did some enchant like redoing, I got consumes, I got flasks, like potions. I could not down Curator. So my challenge to you is, even if it's a feral druid, which I'm sure it will be, to down Curator as a feral druid by next week.
You have to
by
clear
next week's show.
You have to clear all the trash, right?
I did. I don't know if you need to. You could probably skip a lot of it.
You can pull to the hallway, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And skip all the. I'll try it. I don't need to go out there anymore, but I'll send out there sometime and and down every single boss just to show you I can.
So you have until 6 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday the 22nd of March 2023 to kill the curator. So you have 2 lockouts. You have this lockout. You can't do it. You get another piece of loot this week. You go back in next lockout and have another attempt.
I'm pretty sure I could down every boss except for 2. No, every boss except for 3. Well, technically 4 because I can't do the chess event. So
you might be able to solo the chess event. I think there's probably videos of like solo.
I think you need 2 people to do it. I'm not 100% though.
Yeah. I'd look into that. Yeah.
But yeah.
I think Subtle FW has soloed like all of Kara as a prop pally. So just saying.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can solo it, then I'll solo it because I can. Whew. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're wrapping this up. Get it out.
That's something I wanted us to like go kind of back and forth on each week. Yeah. It was an idea I didn't pitch to you.
How about
I wanted it to be kind of like a surprise. Like you make up whatever kind of like random thing you want for the other person to do as a challenge.
We're gonna play. Do you want to play horse?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to do something, and then I have to do it too. If I do it, I don't get a letter, and then once I do it, it's then my turn to do something. Because like normally on horse, if you do it, you get to keep going. But we're gonna just take turns that way because like, if you fail at it once, do you have to tell me and then let me know it's my no? So instead, this week we're gonna say you didn't do construct. Or curator. So that it doesn't really count for this. So we can pick something else where I do something and then be like, okay, now you have to do it, or you do something that you think I can't do, and then I'll take the time to do it, and we'll play horse to see who wins.
Anything ferals can do, I can do better.
So I could do curator. I could go kill the curator and then guarantee myself an H because I know you can't do it. But we won't count that one. We won't count it. I'll come up with something though.
Okay. So we started off this one without like the horse rules yet, but next
this is just for fun.
Horse.
This
curator one.
This week
still the challenge.
I'm just gonna do it, and then I might do something and record it, and then I'll send it to you, and then maybe next week on the pod I'll show you mine, and then either you could do it then, like you can show that you've already done it, or you'll have to come back and do it and then have another one done to challenge me back. That way we could take turns. Yeah, because that'd be fun, because I don't think you could beat me. I think ferals are the superior class. I'm pretty sure that's been established.
Do we switch it from horse to druid? So it's still like, DRUID.
Oh, yeah. That's obviously the smarter play. Why were you
We're playing druid. Yeah, come on.
We're playing for druid.
There's no horses in WoW.
What are you talking about? There are.
They're cavalier. They're
horses.
The C word. They're
cavalier's a horse. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cavalier. They're not horses.
Anyway, all right, guys, we're wrapping it up because Go has to go. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hearing all the crap we're talking about for the week. We do this every Wednesday, 6 Eastern Standard Time, on taking turns on on our channels. This week was Feral and it was mine. Next week it's going to be on Go's. Definitely make sure to follow him on YouTube so you don't miss out on us talking about the most random stuff, usually towards the end. But thanks for watching, guys. And as always, take care.